top-notch Buddha says, I rock who is next. Do your best. Far as rock, yep, stocks I do invest. Comedic God body with the Shaka Zulu chest. Give a rat's ass who you get. Don't let the koofy fool you. I'm no sci-fi Hulu bet. I ain't new to this.
Yes.
To do that bullshit or that you do, yeah.
Let's go.
Or that you do, yeah.
New vibes, new music.
Yeah, they do that bullshit.
It's called Yeah, featuring my boy Snoop Daily.
Did a movie, hit the chart, still move like I ain't care. Yeah, body give Apollo if you ain't here. First rapper on the Nile, it's all in the same.
Put your nines up, let's go.
Goofy motherfuckers got the right one.
Make sure you smash that like button.
When the right's on, the investment looking bright on. Tell Jada Applejack Soggy got the bites on. Now your main thing bending like a body broke. Cause the slow flow, motherfucking diabolical. Bet against J-Boy, that's a foolish bet. Still ain't do that bullshit or that you do, yeah? Let's go. Or that you do, yeah?
Make sure y'all smash that like button, that subscribe button.
Still ain't do that bullshit or that you do, yeah?
Put your nines up, let me know where you from.
Or that you do, yeah?
We got 5 in the building. Raziki in the building. Latifa in the building. Yoga Girl Sy in the building. It's up.
Stayed on my grind, now the vision more clearer. New day coming, new sound of the funky drummer. OG vibes moving weight.
Yo!
Still keep it humble. Devin Hester, running back, no fumble. Strong arm the stage, move weight with pure muscle. Aim is to touch you, black out, no stunt double. Pivot the block.
What
my
up?
ambition is the bubble. Upgrade the Porsche, still living it subtle. Stack dough as the team breaks the huddle. In my prime, so it's myself in the hustle. Make commas move zeros. Now I got the cheat code. Mistress on 6-way fade for all.
Let's go. We're going to stop it there. Listen, come on in. Put your nines up. Put your nines up. I see everybody coming in. I got to shout out my first 9. First, we had Trenton Reed in the building. Shout out to you. Then we had Tristan Johnson in the building. Shout out to you. Then we got LB, that dude. Shout out to you. Let us know where you from, family. Let us know where you from. Put your nines up. Houston, Texas. Tristan's out of Houston, Texas. Shout out to him. We also got Trenton Reed. I said Trenton Reed. Trenton's already here. Okay, cool. Major Key Boxing in the building. I see you. Let us know where you from. You say you're still working, but you're going to pop in later. Today, we talking about energy work, y'all. We talking about energy work. I'm about to bring my guy to the stage, our host, my boy 5. What up, my guy?
What's poppin', my geyser? How are you, my guy?
I'm good. Can you hear me well?
Man, I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me well?
That's what's up. Yeah, I hear you. Let's go. All right, so, 5 and I, we just came from a whole nother build. Right? We just came from a whole nother build.
Yes.
And it was about race and things of that nature. I'm gonna say this to start it off. I would say since like 2017, 2018, there's been an influx of information, okay, that we've been receiving. The internet's been out for a while, right? But within the last decade, I can say that it has really turned up something vicious. The amount of information we're exposed to with the inventions of social media, Instagram, YouTube, even this, right? This is information you're getting, Twitter, all the things that we sign on to on a daily basis to get our new, that's aside from what we were already being programmed with and being fed through news media, regular news media over our entire lives, right? Mm-hmm. Our entire lives. So it's no secret that much of people here in the world are in a space where they are overloaded with a lot of information and very little wisdom. Lots of info, very little wisdom. And because of that, it has effects on the human body, on the human mind, on the human spirit. When one is unsure and uncertain of themselves or uncertain of their surroundings or their future, certain things happen, certain emotions and certain hormones are released. Okay, this is biological here, right? So today's show is about learning how to manage the energy that you're producing, learning how to manage the energy that you are receiving on a daily basis through information, through way it be personal contact, whatever it is that you're going through that is affecting your everyday life. Today, we're going to be talking about different ways and methodologies of, I should say, monitoring and managing that energy. Okay. So as special guests, we have, I'm going to bring up first, we're going to bring all three up and then let them introduce themselves and what they do. And we're going to ask them some questions and we're going to let them explain what it is that they do. One of the things that I know about energy, just from my experiences, family as a Kemetic priest, is that there's a species that walks the planet that intuitively is just connected on all levels when it comes to the conversation of energy, frequency, and vibration. And they are called the divine feminine, okay? Fellas, learn how to tap into the thoughts of a woman when it comes to this subject matter, because from what I found is women have profound knowledge in this, simply because they just move in these spaces. They're kind of put here for that. So I want to bring them up and let them talk and help give us some tips, help guide us through these years moving forward and what we've seen through the past on some techniques that we could possibly do and some things that we may not know that how energy actually works out here. So we're going to bring up Raziki, Latifa, and Sy. Make some noise. So before I go in, ladies, this is Fifth.
Nice meeting you, ladies.
All right.
Peace.
That's my brother from another mother. All right. So what we gonna do, bros? That I just partied. All right, cool. So we got fellas in here, we got ladies in here. This is a great good mix. I love it when it's like this. So we can really get some good knowledge. So Raziki, you can go first. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Let us know what you do. And we're gonna start from there.
Sure. So peace fam. I am Samafo Raziki Zafira. Samafo is Twi for messenger. I am founder of Akura Temple and messenger of Akura Tantra. It is a Noonian lineage of Tantra. And I also have a for-profit company, The Vision Catalyst, where I blend my energy work, my medicine work with business development and leadership development as well. And we'll get into my history and all that later. So thank you. And thank you, brothers, for having us all on here. I applaud y'all for welcoming space for the feminine to come in and provide what we
Absolutely. Yoga Sy.
Peace, family. Peace, family. This is Yoga Girl Sy. I'm also known as a Buddha Shot. Jamaar and I were our priests from the Shrine of Ma'at. We also have our own spaces, as you can see, and our own mediums to connect with people. I started doing yoga over 20 years ago because I did not get into medical school, and I wanted to use a natural method to balance my emotions, right? And I had heard about meditation and yoga. And so at the time, I didn't have the word energy. I didn't have that word. I didn't know that word. But that's basically what I was, aiming for. So meditation and yoga have changed my life. And it's something that I want to bring to our people. I just got back from a trip from Indonesia, doing a yoga teacher training there. And, just every time I do yoga and I do meditation, I'm in that space with all that energy. It just, it is a way that we need to mitigate our feelings and maneuver through, this world. I do a bunch of other stuff, got other organizations, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that when we get to that. So I'm just glad to be here. And I appreciate that we do have a good blend of masculine and feminine energy here dealing with energy.
Awesome. Next up, Latifa. You're on mute. There you go.
Peace, fam. I'm Latifa Foster, the CEO of Elevated by Love. Some of you guys may know me from doing the Lighthouse with Jamar. I'm a Reiki Master. I'm also a part of Akura Temple with Raziki. Yes, we are just here to help enlighten people about how to master your energy, because energy is all around us. It's something that everybody has to deal with, especially in this age of information where they're always feeding you energy, grabbing things that are going to pull at your energy in some type of way. We want to help people to be able to, use some tools that they can use every day and not always have to go to somebody else, so that they can learn how to control themselves and not get caught up in the different things that are going on. So excited to be here and share what I've learned in this 8-year journey that I've been on, as far as like mastering my own energy.
Awesome. Thank you. So many questions. Okay, so all right. So ladies, first thing I want to ask is, like, with so much going on, and these are the things that I'm going to ask my personal subjective questions. What does your morning routine look like? Like, first thing, like the first thing you do in the morning is probably the most important thing, right? Besides like washing your butt, right? That's probably the most important, right? But what is the morning routine? What should it look like to start off a good balanced day energetically? And I want to hear from each of you, according to your practices, what you do. We'll start with Yoga Girl Sy.
Okay, this is a great question. I get this question often, and I can tell you the components to a morning routine, not necessarily a complete order. Excuse me. And the reason why there's no exact order is because, number one, it's personal to you. And number two, it's based on just your energetic movement. Okay. So I have a lot of yoga mats. And I've practiced on these mats doing different things. I have different relationships with these mats. So I have a thin mat. It's my favorite mat. Where is it? I'll show it. Let me show you my mat.
Sure.
I love this mat. This mat right here this is my mat, y'all. I love this mat. It's a thin mat, as you can see. That mat is not a beginner's mat. The beginner's mats at TJ Maxx for $10 are thick and smushy, right? It gives you this buffer, and it's what a beginner needs. But when you've been practicing for over 20 years, you get close to the ground as you possibly can, because that's as close to reality as you can get, right? Boom. So that mat is drying off from a previous class, and then I bring it upstairs at night and I lay it down right below my bed. So my morning routine consists of me getting up, go to the bathroom, do whatever, come back, and I sit on my mat. I sit on my mat with my legs crossed and my back straight. And in the morning, sometimes that's a little difficult, but it wakes your body up. And then I just put my hands on my knees. I hold them. I don't do a mantra. I don't do any of that. I just hold my knees and I breathe in my nose and out my nose. Okay. And what that does is that connects you to the space that you're in to interact with the environment that you're in. Right. So then I start to stretch. I might move my neck this way. Usually I go forward and back. I do this. I look right and left. I do my ears. And I do whatever movement that I need in the moment at that time. This is the part when it becomes a little bit more like personal to you at that time. But I sit down. I always do that. I move my head and neck. I breathe in and out of my nose, just kind of connect to my space around me. I'll stretch my head and my neck. You know what I'm saying? And then I start to move my body. I might stretch. I like to do deep lunges. I might, go in the other direction. I might do a down dog. That part is personal to you at that moment because it depends on what your body is telling you need at that time. Yeah. One of the things that is good about yoga and good about modern yoga is that it's telling you to move your body. The part that's missing is that you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to what your body needs in that moment. Sometimes I just sit still. I don't even know how long it is for. You know what I'm saying? I'll just sit still and I'll just breathe, right? Okay. So it consists of sitting down, stretching, moving. It consists of breathing. And sometimes I get up by an alarm, 5 a.m. My clothes are in the bathroom. I do what I got to do, put my workout clothes on, boom, I'm out. And I go take a yoga class and I have like 30 minutes to get to class, or I have a training session and I have this artificial awakening, right? With the lights and the alarm,
Right.
shower, put your clothes on, go work out, get in your car and drive.
Right.
So I also have that as a part of my morning routine too. And it just depends on what I'm doing. Okay.
I definitely want to just chime in, not to stop your bill. I just want to chime in on that, because what I find in the morning, that like involuntarily the information is pressed upon you, whether it be light information to wake you up, no matter what, it's there. So, the early morning, I feel like if you get a grasp on the early morning, the rest of the day kind of like rolls out better if you handle the mornings properly. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, it is, because what you've done is you've set your intention consciously and also physiologically. There's a physiological change that happens when you meditate. With practice, you're able to connect into your mind. You're able to connect to your body, to your breathing. You know what hurts. You know what feels good. The person who should know your body best is you.
Right.
You should know your body best.
Right.
And so if you're waking up slowly, or if you up at 5 because you have things to do by 5:30, right?
Right.
Then you can do either. I will say this: after my workout is over, I come home and shower, and while you're showering, I might take, like after I get dressed again, like a 15-minute nap, because I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I do hot yoga and when I train, I come home, I eat a little bit, I get sleepy, I get that quick little nap in 15, 30 minutes. But no longer, maybe like 20, because 30 be feeling too good. So 20, no, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. You get up and you get on with your day. And one of the good things about living in Connecticut, especially in February, the cold will kick you right in your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, bow, bow. So meditation and yoga is not necessarily so that you can be peaceful.
Yeah.
It's so you can be at peace. You can be still internally. You can have your mind on right. Have you ever seen people boxing and other people like, and they just still
composed?
Nothing changes. You can't shake
them.
That's what your morning routine is supposed to do, because you're about to go out in that world where you got all kind of isfet, you got all kind of chaos, you got all kind of lies, you got all kind of anti this and anti that at you, and you have to be solid like a peaceful soldier. You ready, but you solid and still, right? Yeah. And so when you have the right morning routine, boom, then you got that. I have not had my morning routine for whatever reason, and I just be a mess the whole day until I say, Sy, listen, you a mess right now because you didn't have your morning routine, but you should know better than that to click into getting into a certain space so that you can save the rest of the day. That's another thing that's good with it. Sometimes it's not going to start the way you want it to, but if you practice it enough, you'll know how it feels, right? Mentally, spiritually, physiologically, and then you get right in it. So that's
major bomb. So Sy gave us some dope practices that you can physically do, right? And also meditation that works a little bit more dealing with your mind, right? We're going to bring Latifa up. Since you went last, we'll let you go now. And tell us what is your morning routine look like for you?
So for me, because I am a mom of a young child who, likes to play around and gets herself ready when she feels like it. Mm-hmm. What I normally do is I normally will wake up before she does, and I just kind of connect to my own energy before I start to, do the morning routine to get her ready for school. A lot of the times I'll just, put my hands on my own body and start to activate my own energy, connect with myself so that I'm in a more calm space to deal with her. Because it doesn't matter what time I get up. It seems like we're always just gonna be running late. It's like you can get up at 7, you can get up at 7:30. It's just like it's always a rush for me to get out of the house with her. So I try to get myself in a mental space so that I'm not projecting onto her or, rushing her or, being angry because she's taking her time or eating slow or whatever it is that she's doing that could possibly kind of get me off a kilter. I try to connect to myself. I do connect to my ancestors and my angels and my spirit guides, and I thank them for watching over me. I authorize my ancestors and my angels to work miracles on my behalf every day, so that when I do get to where I'm going, or if there's traffic or whatever it is, that I can get to where I need to go at a time that she's supposed to be there, because I do not like to be late with getting her where she needs to go. So really just kind of getting myself into a mental space, especially when you have children. It's more so about controlling yourself, because that helps the child to be able to then be in control of themselves and help you in helping them to get where they need to go. Usually after I drop her off, I usually come home, and then I can kind of get my day started, because then, that's my time, and it's allowing for me to be able to do whatever it is that I need to do, whether it's, making sure that I connect to people on Instagram or Facebook so that I'm, putting my business out there, or even just doing more energy work for myself, because I had been slacking in that area. So I definitely have been getting back more into doing my codes. There's energy codes that you can do that helps connect you to, the frequency of the universe. If I have anything going on specifically, I'll specifically work on those particular things. I try to make sure that I clear my chakras and stay in a high vibrational space so that I'm, at the best for whatever it is that I need to do for the day. So it's really just about connecting and making sure that I'm in alignment so that I can get whatever messages I need to get, so that it can propel me to do whatever it is that I need to do for the day. I try to not get caught up in that whole scrolling thing, or even really getting into my phone before I drop her off, because I know that's going to throw my energy all the way off. So I try to keep myself in a bubble of my own energy and my child's energy. So I'm free to do my own thing within my day.
I think one of the biggest takeaways I took from here was the self-activation. She said, I put my hand. Talk about the hands a little minute. You said you put your hands on your stomach. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, you can put them all over your body. Well, there's a Reiki practice, a comedic Reiki practice as well, where you are activating your own chakras, where you're connecting with your crown, you're connecting with your first eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral, and also your root chakra, so that you can be in alignment, so that you're able to get into your own energy. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a Reiki practitioner to be able to do this, because we're all energetic beings. We all have energy within us. If you rub your hands together, and you pull them apart, you're going to feel an energetic and a magnetic connection. You can put your hands on yourself to activate yourself. You do not have to have any particular, modality that you're involved in to really get the energy moving within yourself. So that's going to be a good practice for people to really kind of ground into the energy that is them and really connect to themselves before they get up and start to deal with other people. Because once you start to deal with other people, then your energy can shift. So you really want to be in tune, like Sy said, you really want to be in tune with yourself before you even get out into the world, or you're dealing with other people, or you're allowing this other energy to influence you, because it can throw your day off. And, then, once you're driving in the car, depending on where you're from, like driving is a little stressful. So it's like, you really want to just be centered and more so in your higher self before you get out there on the road, because like everything kind of will bring you into like this 3D space if you allow it to. So I work on maintaining like a higher vibration, so that I'm not getting irritated by people on the road, so that I'm not, having to be off my square when I'm reading something, or maybe I don't like something that I'm seeing on my timeline. I just want to be able to stay in a space to where other people's energy is not affecting me. So that's my main goal and focus, is just to center myself and ground myself in my own energy before I'm connecting with other people.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
Next up, Raziki, what is that morning? Before we do, let's drop the bomb on that real quick. She dropped some gems. She definitely dropped some gems. Hey, listen, if y'all enjoying this, make sure y'all smash that like, heart button. Make sure that hit them fire emojis, all that. Share, hit the notifications button. We got 19 people in the room right now on my end. I don't know how many got on their end, but I can see what we got. Definitely smash that button right now. Thank you. Next up, we got Raziki. Raziki, what does your morning routine look like for you?
So, my morning routine definitely improved the more I got a chance to understand energy. And so, like, the first thing when I do wake up is like tap into that energy of consciousness and creativity, which is like, again, think of my ancestors and my angels, and really create in my day, like, what do I want my day to look like? What do I want to experience during the day? So I really spend time just being in my own energy and in envisioning the day that I would like to have, the feelings, the emotions. And so I really base my practice, again, like I said, on how I understand energy. And how I work is like, I'm kind of all about formulas. So when I understand energy in the essence of prana or chi or ashe or sekhem, I, for example, may incorporate like certain breathing techniques, just elemental breathing techniques, because that's my understanding of prana, and understanding how if I'm lacking drive or motivation, or I may feel feelings of depression or sadness or whatever, just the breathing, right? Tapping into that. And then on another level, the way I understand chi is sending certain energy or breath intentionally to the different organs in my body, because I understand those organs are connected to emotions. And so when you have, your life going through everyday things, like for me, I'm really all about this balance of my right and my left hemisphere. So yes, I'm a visionary and an oracle. And at the same time, it's important to know like strategy and logic, and just being a feminine energy. Anyway, I know the toll on how it could be on me when I'm operating in spaces that require a little bit more of my left brain, because I am a businesswoman as well. And so like the feelings of anger, frustration, I really love Qigong and Tai Chi. I'm more of a Qigong person, both movement Qigong and just still Qigong. Right? Because it's really all about moving the energy, and the body does help, especially as a feminine energy. But even as a masculine energy, there's movement in the body that's necessary, like Sis Sy said, like the physiological responses, right? The chemicals that it produces, to calm you or to activate you.
Right.
And then like deals with ashe or sekhem. So I do my comedic Reiki practice, balancing my left and right brain, releasing energy from my shoulders, my hips, my lungs, and all the things. And then sometimes just spending time with who I would call like my orishas or my netru, because that's a part of our energy body as well. It's a part of our energetic intelligence that makes us feel and act and think the way that we do. And so just depending on how I feel, like both of my sisters said, like whatever my body or what my consciousness or my higher self says I need to do that day, that's what I do. And sometimes it's just straight up working out and stretching, right? Because sometimes for me, I like that workout, like physical energy to release things, but then it also does something to my body where it just gives me in a calm state. And then also, I'm getting up there, I'm trying to keep it right, keep it tight. So, the lift, all that is necessary. So it just depends on how I feel that day.
Copy. Great information. I already knew it was going to be great information, but this is great information. Okay, so, yo, Fifth, you want to talk about your day? What's your morning look like, bro?
Oh, wait, let me add one more thing. Ceremonial cacao. If y'all are not up on that, honey, because that ceremonial cacao be opening the heart chakra. It has a lot of effects, makes you super euphoric. And let me tell y'all something, as a tantrika, when you are able to transmute that sensual creative energy into your day, and again, that cacao. So there are certain sacraments that I use between like cacao or even rape. You know, I just blew some before our session today, but sometimes I'll do that in the morning as well to help me tap in even further, because again, connecting to the elements is an energy in itself. So I just wanted to add that out there as well. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so even like, you know, your morning coffee, whatever it is you do, that could be done ritualistically too. You know, what's your routine look like, Fifth? Before I get into mine.
Wait, before we, can I ask a question?
Sure, go for
Well,
it.
can you elaborate for those of us like me who don't know what you were just talking about? The cacao. Can you?
Oh, absolutely. So I love this question. Okay, so plant medicine. So there's different medicine kingdoms, and today we're talking about energy. So energy is a medicine. It is its own kingdom. So you have like the animal kingdom, fungi, and then also plants. So for thousands of years, plants and herbs have been used for different effects, not only medicinally, but spiritually as well, because everything physical has an energetic intelligence. And that intelligence has a system that has a function to help you mind, body, and spirit. So ceremonial cacao is from cacao pods that is indigenous to South America. And how it's grown and harvested is by families who are tight knit. This is through generations and generations of culture and tradition. And so it is custom that the men grow it, right? Grow it and harvest it, and then the women process it. But the process is not including like how chocolate is made. The process is singing over it, praying over it. They're making it with their hands, and only women can touch it, right? So we have like direct relationships with farmers, and we get these, sacraments from them, and we spread it within our temple network and in our ceremony. And so a lot of these sacraments that are indigenous to this land are, again, not only medicinal, but it's spiritual as well. And so on the site, there's a sacrament quick guide, but you could just look up ceremonial cacao and understand the Mayan tradition, the families and cultures in Guatemala and South America overall. But it is definitely a beautiful sacrament that was also originally used to have during tough conversations. So when tribes were beefing or families were beefing, or a couple or friends, we go and sit down, we go and drink this cacao, because we understand scientifically how it opens the vessels and increases blood flow, which also is symbolic of love energy permeating, because our heart is the most energetic and magnetic part of our body. It has its own electromagnetic field. So when we're drinking this cacao and it's amplifying not only the physical part, but remember that physical part is amplifying because the energetic part is happening. It creates an effect on top of all the neurochemicals that happen. So if you beefing with somebody, drink a cacao, like the conversation isn't going to be as amped up, right, as usual. And so we utilize this sacrament in our ceremony, like prior to more deeper medicines, or just to really have a lot of good emotional release and communion.
So the plant thing is what really strikes my interest. Like I'm big on science. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
I'll be liking to narrow down, okay, this is what's in this plant and this is what it does to the body. So like, putting like the herb thing really always intrigued me. My mother, even as a Christian, was big on that verse. Like the herbs are healing for the land and stuff like that. Like she taught me that even as a Christian, that you get your healing from plants. You know what I'm saying? Are there any plants that either three of you highly recommend that you should have in your diet on like a daily basis to stay in that space of good energy? Or like, you know what I mean?
I have one. Oh, go ahead, Latifa. Go ahead. You were mid breath, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You could. I was gonna say it kind of depends on what effect you're looking for. So really, it's gonna be whatever it is that you are particularly needing, because you can tap into sarsaparilla, burdock root for your iron, blood circulation. So there's so many different. There's like a wide variety of different things that you can use, but it's really going to be depending upon what it is that your body needs, that is going to tell you like what particular herbs are going to be something regular that you should be tapping into. Any root chakra herbs, and anybody can Google this. We got Chat GPT now. you can always look up root chakra herbs, because that's going to help to just ground you into the energy of you being in your own body. And that helps us to be able to connect more with ourselves. And then, moving up each particular chakra, there's different things that are going to be beneficial for each particular one. So.
Can I add something to what Latifa said? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off. Sorry.
Sure.
No, go
Well,
ahead.
okay. So we talking about science, right? Because I feel you, masculine energy, masculine and feminine. So for instance, I'm going to break down cacao a little and then talk a little bit about what Latifa was talking about as far as root herbs and all the things. And I like homework. This is interactive. So if you look up things like flavonoids that help with your cardiovascular health, if you look up things like theobromine and tryptophan, that's natural mood enhancers. If you look up things like magnesium and iron, how that helps with energy boosting, and certain other minerals like zinc, that helps with muscular function, right? So now when we talk about root chakra herbs, you can deal with anything that help with your adrenal glands. And this is another thing too. We talk a lot about energy and learn the scientific correlation. So when we know about root chakra, the root is connected to our adrenal glands, which produces chemicals that respond to our fight or flight system.
Yes.
So when you are able to look up these things and say, okay, if I know my root chakra is there with my adrenals, well, what herbs, deal with my adrenals? If I know that my sacral is dealing with my reproductive, boom, my solar, my digestive system, my heart, my thymus gland, and my actual heart, my thyroid, my pineal, my pituitary, right? So there's all kinds of herbs, different herbs that have American names, as well as these same herbs that we know in American names that may have different names in India or China or whatever. And all of these things will contribute to the organ, which also responds to the emotion, which also responds to the meridian and the chakra and So like sis I said, like we should really be knowing our bodies. Like we should know our bodies the best. So even if we need help or extra information from a doctor or someone, we at least are able to have a understanding of what they're talking about. So there's definitely science to all this. And again, I appreciate y'all for asking that question.
Awesome. On the screen, I just got a list of some herbs that she was just talking about. You guys can screenshot this, look them up for yourselves. For those who do take herbs, right? How do you test what herbs are good for you and what are not? Do you just go ahead and take it? Like, is there a procedure or methodology to figuring out what you should be taking? Because it's much like going to a doctor and receiving medication, right? That's kind of where they got it from. How do you figure out what's good for you and not? Because there are allergic reactions that people can have too in modern day. So is there a methodology to this, or is this, you got to kind of like wing it? Like, what is it?
So I want to answer this question. When I first started using herbs, I had not one thought process of any contraindications. Okay. Which is not necessarily safe. And I don't do that now. But when I first started using herbs, that's what I was doing. And I've always been one to try to go the natural way, even before I heard the word Kemet, even before I, was aware of the things that I was seeking. I was still seeking and living and trying to live this type of a lifestyle, right? So I had asthma, and I was like, I can't be the first person to ever have asthma. I can't be the first person to ever have allergies. I can't be the first person to ever have XYZ, right? We have ancestors that predate every single human being on this planet. Well, what did they do? Because if you have a sense of self from day one, which I have had, because I always knew Jesus was Black, the first people on the planet were African, and Santa Claus ain't real. If you know Jesus is Black and you know Santa Claus ain't real, then you don't have a white savior complex.
Hold on. You can't just like skim over that.
Okay.
We're not finna do that. We're not finna do that.
Now you see what I be talking about when you be trying to do that.
Hold on. So notice, like, the ability to receive information is the subject matter here, right? Because if you don't have these complexes, when you hear this stuff, it doesn't scare you, right? Automatically, you see some people in the feed is scared. They're scary. It's dangerous. right? It could scare you. And I get it, because you're being introduced to something new and you told to ingest this, right? Where does that thought process come from? Please expound on that just a little bit.
My mama and my daddy.
Come on now.
They told me this so early on in my life that I don't remember them telling me this. So as far as my subconscious is aware, I've always known this.
Mm.
So my parents were always very, you need to face reality type of parents, not the way you speak to a 50-year-old or a 40-year-old, or, you know what I'm saying? Age appropriate, but you have to look at life for what it is. Okay. So when you already have that, you're not here to save me mentality, I have to figure this out myself, and it's figure outable because it's been done and your ancestors did it first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this quick example, then I'm gonna answer the question. If name somebody who's really tall, and Kevin Garnett, he's what, 7 feet tall? Alonzo Mourning was 6'11". Let's just say 7 feet because it's easy math. And let's say he has a baby with Lisa Leslie, who's 6'5". Is their child gonna be tall or gonna be short?
Be tall, period. They got no choice.
Is the girl gonna be thin or is she gonna be thick?
Right, genetically.
She's probably gonna be thin. She ain't gonna win no, Daisy Duke contest, but she gonna be tall because it's in your genes. So I grew up knowing that this type of information is a part of our culture, and you can just ask and think, and you can have that information, right? So one of the things that I wanted was to just kind of like mellow out, or like find something that would give me what I needed. And I came across yerba mate. And yerba mate is like, to be general, when you need a pick-me-up, have some yerba mate. When you need to settle down, have some yerba mate. And I'm like, how is that? That doesn't make any sense. Either you do this or you do that. But I also didn't really truly have a concept of ma'at, where you balance out the scales.
Yeah.
So if your body is a little like this, yerba mate will bring you here. If your body's like that, yerba mate will bring you here. I ain't believe it. I don't believe you, yerba mate. It don't make no sense. No, for real. I'm just keeping it real with you. I had to be in my early 20s. No, mid-20s. Yeah, whatever. Mid-20s. Something. I had graduated from college, so mid-20s. And prove it. Yeah. So I had me some yerba mate. I was like, okay, I like how I feel. You feel balanced. I didn't have that word.
Can you spell that? Yerba mate for those who never heard
here. Y-E-R. Can everybody see my chats? Can you see this? Oh, he joined the chat.
If you put it in the chat, they can see it. Because I think that's an important piece that she put in there. Because at first I thought she was talking about a practice. This is an actual herb that helps to balance you out. I think that's major.
Yeah, I hope that's it.
We lose her?
I hope not.
I think that's it though.
Yerba mate. Yeah. Until she comes back, I do like there is I think herbs kind of come to you naturally. Like, because again, in my experience, it's all intelligent. I don't care if it's a non-psychedelic or a certain sacred sacrament you're supposed to work with. I think it just comes to you, become more curious about it, and then naturally you start to do research on it. And then, your body knows, you know what I mean? And just utilizing that consciousness of listening to yourself, because that's what our ancestors did. Like, they spent thousands of years. Like, now some people got messed up, right? But that's how they learn. Like, okay, don't take that dose. You know what I mean? And like she said, it's like a remembrance. And if we know the term epigenetics, like that's a real life thing. That's where it's information and experiences of and wisdom of knowledge that's in our cells, that's in our bones, that's in our DNA. And so when we resonate with things, that's that thing, that's that remembrance. And so all of the herbs that I incorporate is because I feel like we were called to each other, and it is something intrinsic, right? That it's like a knowing, and at the same time you do your research and test it out. So it's a little bit of both. And then the last thing I'll say is when I was in Ghana, I was studying with the Akan tribe out there, and they were saying how, like, no matter if it's just straight medicinal or psychedelic, they do readings before matching people with herbs, right? And so when I was heavily into sidereal, and I still am into sidereal astrology, but even looking at like an energetic imprint that someone was born here with, right? Or even now as an energy practitioner, you are learning what to prescribe based on the imbalance. So kind of like how she described yerba mate, there's this thing where however its intelligence is, it goes in the body and say, this is not right. Let me balance this out. So in a lot of traditions, or even just some of our gifts, we're able to pair people with certain herbs based on their frequency. And more importantly, we tune into it for our own selves. And it just gets louder and better the more you connect with you.
That's major key. Major key. Because, I learned, this is what I learned, and it ties a lot into what you guys are saying here. During 2020, when vibes got super crazy, it was a culture shock for many of us. During that time is when I started to plant my garden. And my sister, who's a priestess as well, she's the one that helped me build my garden. And she said, in terms of sickness, she's like, don't worry about nothing. She said, just make sure when you're in your garden that you're doing it and you're doing it barefoot. Right. Now, this is my first time like dealing with like me planting my own herbs. I was planting everything. My garden was crazy. I need to bring some pictures up. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit later. My garden was crazy. But in any case, she said, if you keep working in this area with your feet bare, she said, your garden will produce for you the herbs that you need. Mm-hmm. She said, the human body has this relationship with plants and the dirt, this type of affinity. And when she said that, it started bringing off mad bells in my head. Like I said, because why, like when I dig my hands in the dirt, my nails seem to flourish and grow. Like weird stuff, like my body wants to be dealing and wants my hands in the dirt. Like, why is that? You know what I'm saying? And even as kids, when you look at kids, how they naturally just want to play and just go in the dirt and just, you know what I mean? And play around there. There's some sort of like, I don't know if it's like the dirt is like our secret sauce or something like that. Like we supposed to be in it more. You know what I mean? And the body is going to respond to us some way, shape, form, or fashion by doing that. And in this case, it was herbs. All of a sudden, I started growing dandelions all through my joint. And then I did the research on, okay, why dandelion? Dandelion root. Like, what does dandelion root do? You know what I'm saying? Like all that. So, what y'all saying is right in alignment with what I've been told, you know what I'm saying, even from around other different people, about herbs and things of that nature. But I just want to make that point. I think that was a good point that y'all made. It was dope. Super, super dope.
I want to say something. Sy is backstage.
Get Sy back in here. She's back.
Yes.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up? I was doing too much.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna find these pictures of the garden and stuff like that while y'all build. Go ahead.
So I was listening to what you guys were saying, and yes, there is an intelligence in the herbs, and of course, because they're older than human beings, they were here before us. So you were here before the African, then you got some knowledge, okay? Yeah. And so, when I had the yerba mate, I was like, this is everything. I loved it, and that taught me a lesson, not to doubt the herb. How you gonna doubt the herb, Sy? Like, come on. You're seeking the answer, and here it is, and then you're gonna doubt it. I've never doubted herbs since I had the yerba mate, and it quietly and subconsciously introduced the concept of balancing out, right? Which of course later on we understood as ma'at. So I use that herb. I use that for my tea in the morning. The tea depends on when I'm working out, if it's in the morning or if it's in the afternoon. But in the evening, I like to have tea. I have a big dumb cup of tea with a nice thermos that keeps it super hot. And so at night, sometimes I'll make a big container of it and leave it overnight. And then in the morning, it's still warm. And it just feels really like comforting. And it's yerba mate with the honey. And I have other herbs that I put in with the filters. And it'll be whatever I need. If I'm feeling sick, I'll have my ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, cayenne, cloves. I'll have that in there. the whole cloves, whole cinnamon. There's another whole one that I'll have. Out where I live, we've got dandelion. And of course, dandelion is good for you. You know why? Because they say it's a weed and they say that it's bad and they say you should kill it. And you should always just, if you just do the opposite, you're going to get what you need. I have wild mint that grows. I pick the mint. And so, like, these are the things that sometimes you need. So, you know, you just have to listen to what your body needs. And then once you start using 2 or 3 different herbs, then you kind of understand that family. Then you should do your own scientific research on like what clusters these particular herbs. So you get familiar with this cluster. And that's kind of how you get reconnected to herbs. For me, I know my family on my dad's side goes back to Georgia. On my mom's side goes back to North Carolina and Virginia. And my next step is to keep digging with the documents to find the herbs that my literal relatives use. We need, as Black people, especially if you're Black American and you can do that here, go get on a plane, go find your oldest living relative and have a conversation about what they did out in these fields. If your family is in the Caribbean, go take a plane and go do the same thing. You know, because that is going to be more directly related to what you need in your own body, because that's where you're from, like genetically. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so yerba mate is something that's good to have in stock. And I bought some loose herbs by mistake once, but I realized it wasn't a mistake. And so all the herbs I buy now, I try really, really hard to get the loose herbs, and you get to touch it, you get to smell it, you know.
Yeah.
You get to put your hands on it. And one last thing, having fun barefoot in the garden. I remember when Jamaar was growing his garden. I absolutely love walking around barefoot. When I was a little kid, what little kid, like he said, what y'all was saying, what little kid doesn't want to run around barefoot?
Right.
Climbing trees, just touching earth and touching nature, not the concrete and like, you know, not that, but the earth. So yeah, so for me, yerba mate, valerian root is good if you have some anxiety or just to kind of balance you out. Look at that eggplant. Look at that.
I don't know why, but those were growing crazy in my yard.
You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
When my father passed and it was my cousin aunt and father died right in a row, man, that valerian root that I hadn't used for, like, I didn't need it. But then I needed it. Licorice root, I needed it. You know, the yerba mate again, I needed it. Mint, I needed that. And so what you need changes, but it's always there for you.
So one of the people in the chat said link. So I'm trying to figure out Vovo Ranch. Let us know specifically what link you're looking for, because we definitely want to.
I think he wants to come on the panel. I think he's asking for the link. Yeah, so I'm about to respond to him right now. Tell him that we're on your. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude.
Oh no, it's all good. You can square it out.
So let me address the people that's watching in my chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. So I'm actually on Jamaar Milton's panel, and I'm streaming this to my channel and on my Facebook. So some of you guys asking for the link, and that's why you're gonna notice that you're gonna see chats on the screen that is not in my thread. So if you want to go over, if you want, you can show the stream your actual channel so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah,
it's called Jamaar Milton.
If you have questions, right? There's 2 ways you can do this, right? If you want to come on here and ask the question live, as long as it's respectful and everything, we can let you on the panel. If not, you can hit up these individuals. We want to make sure that you get all their information and Instagrams, everything that you need, you know, to contact them and to reach out. Okay, because we have 3 different perspectives here as well. I advise that you get in touch with all 3 of them, you know, because it's no conflict of interest. They're all doing 3 totally separate things and things that you need. You should have all these in your arsenal. This should be a part of your tool belt for self-wellness. Okay?
All right.
All right. So
I wanted to chime in also in regards to how I got into the herbs. I was raised Muslim. So my grandmother, she was, you know, into, she was a Sunni Muslim. And so they followed, you know, the book, How to Eat to Live. That was probably the first introduction into, you know, the proper way of eating. She made sure that, you know, we had, you know, a whole host of herbs in the cabinet. So she was always using, you know, dried herbs when she cooked her food, which give the properties and the physical and metaphysical benefits that come with those. And if anybody wants to look up what the metaphysical properties are of different herbs, I invite you to do that, because there are, you know, spiritual connections that come with these herbs, not just something that is happening with the physical body. So there was always herbs in our cabinet. I know if we wasn't feeling well and we needed to use the restroom, she was trying to give us, or we got sick, it was golden seal, which nobody wanted. But it was definitely something that would get you right. Like Sy was saying, as far as, you know, getting the body into balance, because sometimes we can be too acidic. So finding things that are going to bring the acid down in the body and help the body to basically stabilize itself, because the body has its own intelligence. It is here to do whatever it needs to do to, you know, help you to stay here on this planet. And it's already has its own intelligence, so that you can, you know, essentially master your own energy. As long as we're not putting things that are, you know, too wrong into our body, which is why they came up with everything in moderation. We want to make sure that we're allowing our body to be in a state of homeostasis. So it started with my grandmother, and, you know, her having herbs in her cabinet, and always, you know, having tea and different things in the cabinet for us to be able to tap into. Peppermint is going to be a really good herb for people. And most people, you know, they'll drink peppermint tea not knowing what the benefits of it is. But, you know, a lot of the times it's just a good thing to just have and taste, you know, with some honey or some sugar or brown sugar or whatever it is. But she was the first person that introduced me to a lot of it. But when I started on my own personal journey, I did get into Dr. Sebi, and he did have specific herbs that he was using. And so when I went into that journey of, you know, getting into like an alkaline state, there were specific things that he had. And I remember when I first moved down to North Carolina, my mom wound up getting a respiratory infection, and she wanted to go to the hospital. And I was like, oh no, we're not going to the hospital. And I had just gotten to Charlotte. I didn't know nothing about Charlotte, but I made sure that I looked up the places, like the herbal stores that I could get to. And I went and found the 8 herbs that he said, you know, that you should be using in your particular lifestyle. And I went and got all those things. And I made a tea for my mom. I put all of those things together. I made sure that she drank that. And the next day she was on the up and up. So I was just like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. I was like, yes, we are going to be our own doctors. We don't need to be running to, you know, other people. And it's not to say that going to the doctor is bad, because it's always good to have them do full assessments of you, so that you have a place to jumpstart or work from. It's always good to have a baseline, so that you know what your body, you know, Yoga Girl Sy was talking about, you know, knowing your body, but sometimes you need to know where to start from. So if you get a checkup and they tell you that you have such and such going on, then you want to address whatever it is that they're telling you, because you can start anywhere, but it's always good to have a baseline so that you know what your body actually not needs. So there's certain things that obviously you can do on a daily basis. You always want to make sure that you're keeping your iron up, so that your blood is circulating through the body, and you're not having the effects of low iron, being cold, and you know, just having whatever different things that iron deficiency cause. But you always want to make sure that you have a baseline. So going to get checkups is going to be the best thing. And, you know, I also like to do intention setting and putting your energy into whatever the herb is that you're using, because there are, quote unquote, you know, dangerous things that can happen, but intention is everything. We have to understand how powerful we are. We can sit and send our energy to whatever herbs that we're using and give it whatever intention we want to see the effects on the physical side. I don't think a lot of people really understand how powerful, you know, speaking over your herbs, you know, just putting your hands over your herbs and really giving the energy that you need into whatever it is that you're consuming. And that goes for food, that goes for drinking, that goes for anything that you're involving in, because, you know, we like to go outside and go to restaurants and, you know, all of these things are picking up different energetic frequencies. And then we're consuming these particular things, and that's also throwing off our energy. So when we think about, you know, the Christian background, or even if you were Muslim or whatever particular religion it is that you were under, there were different practices that you did before you even started eating. So saying your grace, you know, and that's a form of putting your intention into whatever it is that you're about to consume, giving thanks to the elements and to the higher, you know, gods and whatever it is that you believe or the Most High. You want to give thanks for what it is that you're getting ready to consume, and ask for the protection that you need from whatever it is that you're consuming as well. So that I think more than anything, that's something that we need to get back into practice of, because I know that when we leave certain spaces, we want to just throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it's right. Incorporate all of those things and still give it your own energy and still be able to get the benefits of those particular things. So
and I just wanted to add too, thank you for that, Latifa. I want to piggyback and really talk about the tool that I shared before about, you know, if everybody could just pick a herb, a simple herb, right? And you know, you talked about peppermint, and I put a comment earlier about putting seeds in your mouth before you plant them. So when we talk about
hold on,
say that again.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Get him, girl. I've never heard this before. Listen, the hape is hape.
I know what it. Yes, do this.
I've heard this before. What she's gonna say? I've heard this.
Before, I can figure
let me break this down. Okay,
break it down, please.
So the more we get to know everybody, I really love spirit and science. So let me tell you the science, okay? Yeah. So for those of us who may have heard of the experiments, Dr. Miyamoto, or I forgot his name, some Japan scientist, he had 3 glasses of water. And mind you, we talk about plants, and the first element that's the oldest is water, rather it be cosmic water or physical water. So when he had these 3 different glasses, he spoke nothing into one, negative words in the other, and then positive words in the other, right? And so you notice that the one he spoke nothing to, the molecular structure, like under the microscope, it looked the same. When he talked to negative, when he looked at the negative molecular structure, it changed into like this really ugly pattern. But then when he looked at the molecular structure of the glass that had the positive affirmations, it was like this beautiful design. So if we're made up of over 70% of water, we're out here putting more prayer over our food than our actual water, which is responsible for a lot of the molecular structure that's in the water in our body. This is blood, this is mucus, this is waste, all the things. Also taking your water out to the sun and charging your water in the sun, so it gets some of that empowering energy. Now let's go to the seed, right? So your saliva, how do we pass disease from each other? Through mucus, through blood, through bodily fluids, right? So if our water holds the molecular intelligence of us, so does our saliva. So when we put those seeds in our mouth, the seed is getting that information that's in the molecular structure in the saliva that it's in. So therefore, when we plant the seed in the ground, it's literally going to grow the plant to the correctila formula needs. So you just have this peppermint plant that you planted for yourself, right? And just pick it off and make some tea, or just eat the leaves, because now you're eating something that's specifically made to correct you based on the information, the molecular structure that was given to it, right? So we want to start planting seeds that also has our DNA in it as well. And I want to take it back to the earth that you said before. So mind you, I was a military baby, y'all. So from 0 to 18, I had the vaccines, I had Robitussin, like that was my life. Okay. So I really didn't know about healing herbs until I left the house and really just started venturing on my own. And so from me doing community farming and composting is where I learned a lot of this stuff, which also led to a farm to table catering company. But we'll get into that later. So I'm saying that to say, learning the healing energy of the earth when I'm out there barefoot. I first come out there mad as hell because of my day, but as soon as I take off my shoes, I literally feel the energy draining my body into the earth. You know why? Because the earth also has this beautiful brain network called mycelium. Okay, we're not even that, right? So I'm gonna end off with this. There was this burial ritual that I did, right? And when you talk about the earth being nutrient, like you said, Jamaar, before, like feeling full,
right?
I took off all my clothes. I had on my underwear though, right? They buried, like it was a burial ritual to symbolize a lot of things, but my body was buried. My head was out, but my body was buried for like 4 to 6 hours. I was not hungry. I was not cold. I didn't have to use the bathroom. It was like, I can't even explain it. Like, I felt so full. I felt so nourished. My skin was glowing. Like, everybody should just bury yourself in the dirt and just like let it heal you. I mean, I'm about to get emotional. It was beautiful. I'm like, can I find some friends that don't mind digging some graves around here? No.
Wait, can I say something? When I was in Indonesia, there was this one place that we went to, and this guy had shown me he was buried in the dirt from the neck down. And I was like, that looks crazy. There's one thing about me, I'm gonna make a conclusion, but I do it in pencil because I know I have nothing on which to base it except a knee-jerk response, but I embrace all of it. So my initial response was, that looked crazy, but I'm gonna go try it. So I went, and he had this rake, and he's just moving the sand. I'm like, that looked like he digging my grave. I'm like, I'm Black. I'm not even supposed to be doing this. This don't even seem right. So he moved the dirt to the side. I got in, and that first little sweep where he put the sand over my body, I was like, this feels so good. I don't think it was the same thing that you had, but the warmth of the sand, it wasn't even, I said, so was this preheated and moist because there was a certain weight to it? And it wasn't, but it felt so good, and time stood still. And I don't know what it was called, but it was amazing. So yeah, there's something about that. It was amazing for sure.
I really appreciate that.
There's a grounding effect to being, like, you think about when you go to the beach and everybody wants to get buried in the sand. It's a way for you to be able to connect to the energy and the earth has all of the minerals and the everything that are in our body. So all we're doing is going back to ourselves, and it allows you to be able to kind of drown out all the other things that are going on, all the noise, all of the other things. And you're really able to connect to yourself because you can't move, can't do nothing. You just got to be with yourself. And that's
hypnotic. Did you feel like it was a little hypnotic? Like there was something in it that, like, I went from, see, Sy, you always doing weird stuff. Why can't you do regular Black people stuff? Who you know in the
but this is Black people stuff.
And then 2 seconds later, I was like, this is and then your mind is calm, and it was like that.
It's because of okay. So now, see, I don't even want to go here. Okay, listen.
Go there,
girl. The mycelium is connecting to your intelligence. So first, are we aware of what mycelium is? Right.
Let's break that down.
Break it down real quick.
Put us on, please.
Nobody behind mycelium.
This looks like a certain kind of mushroom, but I'll just say me and mycelium are. I love our relationship. So the same way we have a nervous system. If we took our spine out of our body, we got all these cords and whatnot, right? And those cords is what send messages to say, hey, liver, do this, heart, do that, blah 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 blah. It's like a communicate. It's an information highway. So what happens is the trees and all the plants and all these things, they have their own mycelium network. So if a tree over here is dying or lacking nutrients, it communicates these signals to the other trees through the mycelium network. And the mycelium network is like, okay, we're going to transfer these nutrients from all these other trees to this one because we're trying to save the homie, right? So
that's right.
It's this network, it's this communication. So then when we put our own bodies, that got its own mycelium network called the nervous system in with the natural original brain network.
Say it.
We
Say it.
communicate and sis, this is why you go into a trance.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not only connected to your consciousness in that moment, you're literally connected to the network. So you don't feel hungry, you don't feel you don't have bodily fun, because it's like, it don't even exist. She feel like she about to pee. Let me take that away because I got some more information I need to give her. And then it's also getting information from you.
Yep.
Exactly.
Man, come on, man.
So I'm glad you said this because during this, hold on.
Yeah, no, fire. Because I was like, what's going on with my body? And you just answered the question.
I'm literally sitting here as you're saying this, right? I literally have 4 seeds in my hand, and these seeds is from 2020. I've been holding on to these. And I'm like, yo, when I plant these, it's gonna be a certain land that I'm gonna be in when I plant these. You know what I'm saying? But you just gave me some. They sit on my desk, like right here. Like they don't go anywhere. These are here, right? What I also learned during that time of acquiring these things was, and when she's talking about mycelium network, I have a brother, my brother Danny, he's my herbalist, and she's speaking about what we call the mushroom kingdom. Right? And the mushroom kingdom is kind of like the epicenter, which is responsible for all of the community. This is literally how he broke it down, exactly how you saying it. He was like, the mushroom kingdom is like the powerhouse, and it helps all the different herbs and plants communicate with one another. He was like, the mushroom kingdom is older and it's way more ancient, and it's what is necessary for all these plants to do what they do because it's an underground system in which they communicate. And the mushrooms is kind of like the little cell towers, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So by us taking it, like we're getting that viewpoint or that vantage scope of everything that's going on versus just like one little area. It's like, no, the reason why you're feeling this way is not just because of this one thing, which is European science. They like to attack the symptom or just whatever you're feeling at that moment in time versus the actual problem. You know what I'm saying? So I find that like the mushrooms heal the overall problem, the root cause of what's going on. When I had COVID, I took a mushroom blend and it knocked it out within like an hour. I didn't tell anybody, but that's how my COVID, when I had COVID, my boy made an herb with mushrooms in it. And it was about this big, and it tastes great, by the way. But in any case, it was a shot. And within an hour, everything that was inside of me that was heavy, everything inside of me that was causing me to have this sickness and disease and these ailments was beginning to sweat outside of my body. And I was done within like an hour of taking.
Wait, can I jump in? Can I say, because I remember that time.
Remember, right?
And like we would be on the phone and he would just be like, oh my God, like, yo, what's going on? He took that. He was like, yo, Sy, I don't know what's going on. Oh my God. I don't know what's happening. I'm in the gym. I feel like I'm 22. Oh my God, this was great. And I was just like, yo, whatever that is, I don't even need to know what it is. You don't know, we both don't know, but I know I want that. So yeah,
because it didn't just take away the COVID. It healed whatever else was going on that I didn't know was there.
Jamaar was feeling himself, y'all. He was
I felt better than before I had COVID. Is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
You know?
Can I chime in? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes.
So now I want to sum up a lot of what everybody's been saying. So now give you words to identify with. When you guys are talking about walking in your gardens and in your dirt, you're talking about really grounding, like it shows in the picture. We're all energy fields. Coming in. So now, like the lady said, when you put these seeds in your mouth, now your DNA is in the seed going into the earth as well as your energies. So like like one of the sisters says, she wakes up and I believe she goes outside. It helps the grounding because you're releasing the energy. You're getting one with source. You're getting one with the realm that you're on. This is all part of you. This is you. Regardless, once you identify with it, it makes it a whole lot easier to come to the realization. Like Jamaar was saying, he was sick, right? And he took the mushrooms. Now, mushrooms, what do? At the right amount, mushroom opens that gateway between the conscious and the subconscious brain. So now your subconscious is a lot more powerful than your conscious brain. So your subconscious will know what's going on with your body and it'll rearrange that for you. Because like we said, a lot of these foods, a lot of the stuff we're taking in our bodies is what's affecting the mind. Because like the sister said, when she was buried from the neck down, right? This is how you know that you are not the body. This is how you know, because she's like, I'm in there so long, I didn't have to use my bad. Go ahead, drop them bombs, bro.
No, we got to drop them bombs. We got to see when you listen, man. Hold on. Let me look at me. This when y'all know y'all about to say something crazy like that, just pause right out. Just let us marinate on a minute, because some people are coming in here and they brand new. They ain't never heard none of this before. We don't drop words like mycelium and all this. All right, so when y'all say something like that, just let it marinate.
Just pause
for half a second. That was crazy. What you just said. I wasn't even expecting that, Fifth. You surprised me on this one. I didn't know you was into that.
You'd be amazed, my guy. You definitely be. And you know what's the real talk? Everything.
Wait, I gotta know. Are you Boricua?
Yes, he is.
See, come on. You know this thing. You know, Papi. You know.
I was going to ask him, what herbs, culturally, like the Jeff family
flag on the ready.
I know, right?
That going on, you know what I'm saying? Not the legal ones, all right?
The laugh chat.
So what if some of the best medications is the reason why they made it illegal?
Right.
We already know the answer to that.
Yes.
Right.
So like with this, like you guys were saying, how you guys were buried under the ground, you're becoming one with source. You're going back. Because some people say that we are pure energy, and hunger is like you being hungry, that sensation is like a side effect of eating, like you're addicted to eating. Because some people say you eat once a day, they feel better, right? Now we're gonna switch up real quick to biology, real quick, just for a moment. They say that after about 36 hours to 46 hours of no food, a lot of your cells start to heal on their own.
Yep.
Now, you combine that with your grounding, you're at a whole nother level. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you're good.
No, it's called autophagy. Your body will literally eat the bad things that are in your body so that it can heal and get itself back to, again, homeostasis. We got to understand that we're connected to the all, but that's if you want to be connected. There's a lot of this stuff is so that we're not connected to what's actually going on. We're all able to tap into this universal consciousness if we allow ourselves to be there. But with all of this information, like our thing says, in this information age, it's all pulling you from being able to connect with your higher self. This is why you get thoughts in your head that you weren't thinking about. This is where the quote unquote downloads and things come from. But if you always have something playing in the background, if you always have some noise, or you always have something going on, it's harder for you to actually hear yourself.
Yep.
And being preventative instead of reactive. That's another thing. Like the Western culture, like you got cultures from young. Like as soon as the baby come out, they getting spiritual baths, they getting massages, they getting certain things because they already understand how the brain is developing the minute that they come out the womb, right? And so now we as adults, and I understand life be life in. And at the same time, we have to be more, oh, girl, don't talk about ayahuasca, child. That's girl. Look, don't get out the toolbox. Man, you made me lose my track of thought. What was it?
The brain developing.
Yeah. So now y'all, we're in a state of we have to be preventative. We already know what they didn't try to do with the vaccines and what they doing with our food, right? So let's be preventative. Let's not wait till we get older and heart disease and obesities and all the E's and disease and all that. Like we got to be preventative. So there are things you could do daily, teas, practices, food to just prevent things. The fasting, like how many of us really intentionally fast? Like if you know you've been going in for 90 days, man, take some weeks off. Like, preventative. Because so ayahuasca, we're gonna come back around that when you ready.
I keep that
as far as the fasting goes, because I'm also into human design, and some people's bodies are not preferable to fasting. It's not something that your energy body needs. So that's why I'm a practitioner of everything in moderation. Your body is essentially going to tell you, and that's, I think, the key thing to mastering your energy is being able to listen to the body cues, because the body is the last form of information in a sense that is given to you, because there's so many like outside, like we don't see these energetic bodies that are attached to us. But the same way that you have the chakras in your inside of your body, you have basically chakras that go out into the, you know, into the omniverse. So being able to get the information when it's up here before it actually comes into your physical aspect is going to also be key. But sometimes you have to learn how to tap in with that particular energy. But being able to take those body cues when you have a pain or you have a twitch or your lower back hurts, it's like, let's look into why these things are happening. Like Jamaar said about getting into the root cause of what something is, as opposed to dealing with whatever the symptoms are. We have to figure out why it's happening, and your body is giving you these cues so that you can look into it. It's the way that they're getting to you the information that you need. But if you're always ignoring it, or you taking Tylenol, or you want to get on Motrin, and you know you're trying to stop whatever is going on, even when we get colds and flus and different things like that, sometimes it's best to just allow that process to be. My daughter is dealing with eczema, which is something that deals with gut and immune health. And she wound up getting a staph infection. And the first time she got a staph infection, it was really bad. And my mom wanted to take her to the emergency room. So, but, you know, kind of to satiate her, I allowed her to be taken to the emergency room. They kept her, they gave her steroids, which steroids break down your body completely. Like they're literally taking away all of your natural functions that are here to protect you. And it's opening you up to all kinds of other things that you're going to now have to deal with. And then your body is fighting the actual steroid, because it's like, what is this foreign entity that you're putting inside of me that is not supposed to be here, that is messing up your natural equilibrium? And it's going to have to fight that plus whatever was going on with you. So this time my daughter went to a rec pool and wind up getting a staph infection again. But what I did was I allowed her to get energy work done and getting to the root cause of what her body is actually saying, because there's also kinesiology that you can use to be able to hear the messages. There's questions that you can ask your body, and the same way people do muscle testing, your body is going to tell you whether something is good for you. Okay, should I eat this? And if you holding your arm out and somebody pushes your arm down and your arm is going down, that's a weak response. Anytime you're standing strong and your body is like, no, this is what I need, it's going to hold strong. But we think that we're supposed to have certain things, but your body is just like, you have to listen to me. So being able to hear those cues, and then when you do get some type of dis-ease in your body, allow that to express itself. Allow it to go its full cycle so that you can let go of whatever is trying to release from you. We're always trying to stop things instead of allowing it to progress. You know, we don't want to let things get too far, obviously, but sometimes being able to just sit with certain things, allow those messages to be able to come through. That's the biggest way that you're going to be able to master your energy, is allowing the messages to come through, because this is what we need. We need to know what's going on with us, and everything is not for everybody. We are all unique, energetic beings. So this person taking a mushroom, or this person doing ayahuasca, or this person doing mushrooms, it's not for everybody.
That is right.
You have to know exactly what is for you. And first ask yourself that we don't ask ourselves any questions. We decide, okay, this is what I want for my body. I'm about to have this burger today. Maybe your body don't want a burger. Ask your body, does it want a burger? And if it says, okay, we can eat this burger and I'm going to process it fine, then yes, do that. And also being in a certain space of when you eat your food as well, like being happy. Hey, even if you eat some bullshit, just be happy that you eating it, and say to yourself, I know that I'm going to be able to process this out. I'm not going to have any of the negative effects of whatever it is that I'm eating. Learning to master what's going on with you, but also listening to what the information is and the energy that's coming through is going to be the biggest way to help you to figure out what is best for you. I'm really big on making sure that people understand that you are authentic. It is important for you to know what is specifically for you. You can try other things that other people said, like Dr. Sebi got a whole, slew of things that he says to eat. You got Dr. Layla Africa telling you that you can eat this, and the other person is saying you can't eat that, but it's really about what is for you. So really getting back into yourself is going to be the best thing to be able to move you forward through anything in life. Because what happened with the homie is not going to be what happens for you if you take the same thing. So really getting into yourself is going to be what helps you to be able to be progressive and really be at your highest good, because that's where we want to be.
And I just want to kind of just say something real quick. So yeah, the fasting part, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because fasting is necessary in all realms, not just what you eat, but what you listen to, what you watch, who you're around.
Yep, who you be around.
Everybody got to fast in a way. It may not be for food,
right?
But fasting is important. And even, and I'll give a quick example. Two that's really combined into one. There was I do complementary charts, right? So some people call it compatibility, but compatibility to me is just how do we survive together, and B, it's a complement is how you thrive. And I've literally witnessed energetically and physically people being together, and you talk about that phrase, man, they make me sick, literally making you sick. Whereas being around certain emotions that lead to a disease, because either a combination of your energies are irritating each other and you may not know how to process emotions. Even the fact where there was a recent case where, certain seizures were being triggered, and the more that they were not around that person, it subsided. Right. So being around people who don't encourage you when you got big dreams, but they think too damn small, fasting from them mother flubbers is necessary. If you watching a lot of violent programming on TV and then wondering why you angry, fasting from them shows is very necessary. If you too much in your feelings and you got these jacked up views on relationships, watching movies about men and women hating each other and romanticizing, about managing energy, please know fasting is far beyond smoking weed. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it, okay? Because I know for me, I be backsliding like a mug, but my body be saying, hey, listen, man, sis, listen, you got to chill out your lungs. You got to think, you got this to handle, that to handle. Fast from the weed, yo. Like, okay.
I did a 30-day fast just before I went to Egypt, and when I tell you that thing did wonders for me. Was it 30? It might have been longer than that.
I'm on 45 days right now.
Yeah, I was rocking pretty strong. I think it was more like 3 months, but in any case, it did wonders for me in terms of my clarity, in terms of fog, and then also I stopped smoking indica and only smoke sativa. So a lot of people just smoke whatever weed, whatever comes their way.
Right.
You got to do the knowledge on what you're smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like every herb ain't the same. All weed ain't the same. Some brings you up, some brings you down. Just like all the different herbs that we discussed here today. Some of these are going to bring you up. Some of these are going to bring you down. Some of them bring you left. Some of them bring you right. You have to figure out what you need in that moment, to provide balance. But ultimately, it's for grounding. So like the brother was saying when Fifth was talking about grounding, I want to show y'all a little bit of science here so y'all can see for yourself what grounding does. I do this regularly. Like when I find myself, like if I have body aches or anything like that, especially during the spring and the summer months, I'm really quick to go outside, take my shoes off, and just go sit in the grass. And within 15 minutes, you'll find a lot of ailments that you have as far as muscles being sore, or you just wake up, maybe a crook in your neck, whatever it is, you'll find that sitting outside and grounding yourself just 15 minutes in a day it will take away 90% of the issues that you have. And there are studies that have been done on this. This is not just something like a one person just studied it. If you just Google this, family, and you just type in the benefits of grounding, you will find all sorts of scientific studies that tell you that this is the way to go. It doesn't matter what it is. Like they're creating all these different products around it, now, but they have studies, as you can see here, that have been done on grounding from real scientists. So it's not just a spiritual thing that we're saying here. This is not spookism. This is for real, and it's scientifically proven that these are the things that you want to do. Like as you see here, somebody in the feature says, "I like indica." Yeah. So depending upon your nature, right? Let's say if you're a person who tends to be high in anxiety, what I'm saying, you're gonna want indica. You're gonna want something that's going to calm you. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a person that tends to be low key, chill, whatever, and you want to maintain focus now, you want to wake up or something or stay alert, you're going to want to smoke sativa. You know what I'm saying? Sativa is going to give you that creative aspect. It's going to keep you in that zone of focus. You know, it's just a different blend. You know, so
Yes,
it's to
sativa's
each
the
its own. It
upper.
depends upon your chemical makeup.
Sativa's the upper, indica's the downers. The easiest
Yeah.
way to put that. Indica puts you in the couch. So now check this out. What is on your screen? Yeah, in the couch, right? What's on your screen, right? You know that I'm about to tell you some real crazy shit. What if I told you that what you're looking at, it's like a comedic art that we actually have proof that you can visualize now. We can put into vision. You know what I mean? Like when people used to be like back in the day, like, yo, there's grounding, it affects you. And now we can actually put the effect of the grounding in front of you.
Right there. Let me show you something. Hold on.
You get what I'm saying? Like we can actually do that. So back in the day, people were doing this. There was just
were.
no technology to show, like, look, this is the effects of it. Well, today we had, this is nothing new. You get what I'm saying? This is not new. This is what basically is what we say.
Let me show you just how long they've been doing this, though.
Right.
Let me show you just how long they've been doing this. So a lot of comedic art that you're going to see, you'll see. Let me see if I can zoom in. A lot of comedic art that you'll see them with a statue, right? Hold on. Let me bring this image up. When you see a comedic art with a statue, and you see these two rods that he's holding in his hand, a lot of people overlook this. These two rods are for one purpose only. That's for grounding purposes. Grounding purposes. They had two different types of metals in their hand. I believe one was zinc, and I think the other one was copper or something like that. Two different metals. But in any case, when you put these two metals together, one hand, the other hand, you have the different flow current on one side of your body, another flow current on another side of your body, right? Holding these two together is how they used to ground. And they would walk around the pyramids and all the different things that they created with these metals in their hand, because there was electrical currents that would flow from the pyramids and flow from Beirut. So you could be electrified just by simply walking the grounds. They would have these in their hands, especially the Royal Lasut. When sitting inside these buildings, they would have these in their hands. They've been grounded since day one, family. They knew about this for a very, very long time. This is not new science. This is not, what they call that, pseudoscience or something they just made up. No.
It's old.
You are an electrical being. You are an electromagnetic being by nature. Correct. That's what human beings are. We are electromagnetic. You have to grasp this concept. You have to embrace this concept, because whether you know this knowledge and capitalize on it or not, it's going to affect you. This is not something where you got to believe in order for it to work. No, it's going to do what it does.
Yeah. Let's do it a fact. What is it called? Your right-hand man, right? Your right-hand man is your best friend, right? It's your right-hand man, right? What if I told you the right side of your body is the negative side of your body and the left side of your body is the positive side of your body?
It has flows. I told you that. Electrical current. Yes. So
now what if the person you saying is your best friend, you're always giving them your negative hand? So you're always making a negative connection. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of this has to do because we're electrical beings. Well, the first step is identifying with the power within you. So I tell people, identify with the God and or goddess in you. Right. Identify with your creator. You're not a victim. Everything always is happening for you. Nothing happens to you. Nothing. Right. So now if we know this and we know how, I wear copper and I wear a lot of jade. I wear a lot of crystals. I don't even like when people call them stones. I'll be like, yo, respect my crystals, bro. They're not rocks. They're crystals, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, respect even my pyramid. This is a bloodstone pyramid with copper in it. You get what I mean? So, like, I don't get sick. I gotten sick. I'm 44 years old. I gotten sick one time in my life, only once. I was young. I was about 20 years old. I took a flu shot. The next day I woke up with the flu. Never took the shot again. Never got sick again. I was in households with people that got COVID. I didn't get it. Yeah, I didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in getting sick. I didn't do nothing. When shit happened with COVID, everybody started changing the way they moved. I said, oh, y'all starting to live the way I've always lived. I always live like that. So it's like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, it's beautiful you make that connection because, okay, so the science, right? I'll be loving conversations like this. So when you talk about crystals, we got a whole crystal in our body, right? Mm-hmm. Do we know what it is?
I went behind each eye too. The clear quartz.
But also let me break it down like this: the science. Okay, boom. The Dagara tribe. I don't know if y'all heard about this, right? But everybody who's born is contributed to a clan. So for instance, because my number is 9, I'm a part of the mineral tribe. So this is connecting to what you was talking about crystals. When people want to test the age of a human or a civilization, what do they test?
Carbon.
Right, but what do they use to test it? Let's talk about a body.
Yeah, other bodies.
Or the body?
When they find a human skeleton, what do they test to find out how old it is?
The marrow,
the bones. So the bones represent the mineral kingdom in our body, just like these crystals, just like mountains are also representative of the mineral kingdom, and it holds information. Right. So when you talking about testing bones, it's able to backdate ancient information. When you talk about these crystals, it's able to hold ancient information. When you tap into rocks and mountains, it holds ancient information. And that scientific and spiritual correlation is purpose. So these crystals, these minerals, these hard minerals, our bones, these crystals have this intelligence of serving a purpose. So when you talk about holding these crystals in your body, or the way that you hold certain metals, right? When you talk about the certain stances to ground, it's because they are connected to the science of metal or mineral, which is actual real live metal, rock crystals. Like copper and gold and silver, because those also have all healing properties, as well as these different crystals, right? So tapping into these frequencies is important, which is why we also charge them in the sun. Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about energy, we got to tap into the most potent energy that there is, which is the sun, which brings me to another level of energy management. Yep. So I remember, first kicking it with Latifa, and I remember like anytime I'm over at the crib, I wake up and I'm like, man, where's she at? Sitting out in the sun, right? Because now we're tapping into how this solar power also cleanses and dissipates and burns up and transmutes energy, which can also be contributed to any negative energy that we have, and it dissipates. So all these things of the elements, the solar power, the mineral kingdom, the air, the water, the earth, the plants, like all the things, they all have energetic frequencies, and all these energetic frequencies hold intelligence. So if you think about it, all of these energies are in our body. So when we talk about all these methods, when we talk about all these self-healing modalities that we did, it's because literally we have all the ingredients in us already to do the healing. These external things are just extra. Right. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, what you brought up, Jamaar, which was so important, is that when I first learned about yoga, the most ancient form I learned was that, let me start with this. Modern day is like, yes, it does help the healing of the body, the spirit, the emotions, the organs. And in ancient Kemetic times, and correct me if I'm wrong, because y'all, way more in the Kemetic lineage, but this was also to tap into the energetic frequency of the Neteru, of nature. So there were certain body postures that not only are you standing in a certain position and holding a certain element, but this is attributed to the Neteru, the energy or frequency of nature that you're supposed to embody. So be clear that when we're talking about these stances of yoga and movement and all the things, it's not just what we're taught from the Indian or that lineage. It's also we're connecting to these elemental frequencies of Neteru, of nature. Right. We use them to heal our bodies, because guess what? They're also connected to all of our 11 body systems as well.
Right. And just to understand it a lot more clear for those, like, because there was a comment in there, like, where's the indigenous healing techniques and things like that. Listen, when it comes to healing and things of that nature, when it comes to nature, it doesn't belong to anybody. Science doesn't belong to anybody. It is here for all of us, and anybody can tap into this knowledge. Anybody can learn this. Anybody can utilize it in their everyday life. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times we try to put this stuff in a box and say, well, this is what this demographic people will do, or that demographic people will do. No, this is just what human beings should be doing, period. You understand?
So I got to jump in and say this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jamaar, were you finished?
No, go ahead, Yoga. We haven't heard from you in a minute. Come on.
So part of the morning routine with the meditation is most certainly connected to the next room, but I wasn't trying to start with that because we had to lay down a little bit of foundation first to try to understand. But I will tell you this, and this ties into something else that was mentioned before. We talked about fasting, and there's this Instagram page that has lots of great explanations, and lots of great visuals to help people of all levels understand the benefits of fasting if that's something that works within your body, right? That 36-hour fast is easier than you think, and it is so powerful. It is so powerful. So like, what's today? Friday. So if you go to bed tonight, all day, you wake up all day Saturday, don't eat anything, just drink, right? Boom, go to bed. And then Sunday at noon, at 12:01, you have your first meal. I promise you, you're gonna feel better. If you're pregnant or you have other contraindications, you have type 1 diabetes, whatever, don't do this. I'm not a medical doctor. These are just the things that I've done that I've experienced. So seek advice before you do that from someone waving an incense, okay? So now you fast, and then you do your meditation. Now, mind you, you're sitting still. Your room is quiet. It should be dark, maybe not pitch black, but just really dark. All right. You're sitting comfortably. You have your hands on your knees in a way that helps to stabilize your body, because some people don't have the balance to sit still, and they use their hands to help them sit still. That's why I say put your hands on your knees so that you can stabilize yourself. If you can use your hands to do mudras and you're good, fine. But I want everybody to be able to do this, right? And when you breathe in your nose and you hold it and you warm the throat, your eyes are closed. You exhale through the nose and you keep doing that. And when you get to a certain place where you have released tension in places that you didn't even know you were holding tension. You didn't even know you could hold tension, like back here in your eyeball, all right, in your forehead, okay, in your mouth. If you hold your tongue a certain way, you release that, all right? You release your shoulders, okay? You're standing up straight, so your spine is connected. It's straight from the top of the head all the way down to the coccyx. And all you're doing is breathing in and out of your nose. You're focusing on your breath. What does that mean? When your mind wanders, when you think about this, when you think about that, just think about your breath. Redirect your breath. It takes a little practice, but the first time you redirect to the actual breath, you'll never forget how to do it ever in life. It's one of the best things you can do, because that's how you start to learn to go inward. The breath, if I'm making noise through my nose, you hear it out here, right? But once you learn how to focus, that focus is inside. And then that breath starts to come in here. Once you are internally breathing and internally focusing, then you call on the Netsudu, you in a whole different place. Y'all not ready. Some of y'all ready, some of y'all not ready. Okay? Because that's a part of the morning routine too. But I was like, Sy, you just got on the show. You already, you know what I'm saying, inside the body. They're not ready. Let's master recognizing outside the body first. Okay? Listen, I've been on hiatus from teaching meditation and yoga for a while. I just got back from Indonesia. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show, because I feel like we've been on the show for 2-3 days at this point. So, because we talking metaphysics, we talking science, you know what I'm saying? We on a vibe right now. I'm whack. I got this. When I get my incense, I'm really in my space right now, y'all. I love to see the smoke in the front. Anyway, there's something about the way you feel physically, mentally, spiritually, and energetically that comes from yoga. Yes, you do feel like you time traveling, because you're able to spiritually and energetically escape from the space that you're in. And this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, that's what it is. That's what it is. All right. So that space right there You're still, your spine is straight, you're breathing in and out of the nose, you've got vibration, you feel the warmth, it's here, it's in your head, it's in your chest, you're still, you're comfortable. Then you connect with the Netaru. Then you connect with the Orisha. That's when you connect with it. I promise you ain't gonna never be the same after you do it that first time. I promise.
You know, the beautiful part that you just described, and I got to get into my tantra state, girl. Ooh, I feel juicy. Y'all got me juicy up in here. Is that the body is the gateway between the spiritual and the physical world. And so when you're describing these practices about really going inward, because again, everyone's not the same. Some people got to start externally, some people can start internally, right? But nonetheless, it's still an experience of the body. And so when you're talking about the breath, when you're talking about the intentional setting, aligning the spine, which is really aligning the channels, right? And connecting these different portals that we call chakras, which are actually portals of information, right? We're able to go into this space called trance, this altered state of consciousness. And the body is what gives us our external experience, which then affects our energy body. And then the downloads that we get from the energetic world, the unseen world, also affects the external reality, right? So it's like the best communion you can have is with your body. That's what I'm like. We are the medicine. We are the crystals. We are the yoga. We are the mantras. We are the yantras. We are all the things. And again, a lot of these external practices, these external tools is just simply reminders and or catalysts for us to remember.
Yep. And to go back in. That's right. That's right. You this starts with the physical body just holds it. And for some of us, all we have is our physical body. We spend all our time in the gym. We're eating. We have sex all the time. We're touching each other. We see, we're eating. We're always doing something. What'd you say?
No, so he got when you brought up, so he got me like big on screen, like
wow.
Because you talking, girl, and I feel the thing.
Yeah. So once we are able to kind of not lead with the physical, you got to keep the body still. Man, I'm telling you, that first time that you connect to that breath, you ain't gonna never be the same. It's gonna be for the better, connecting to your breath. When I first heard this, I was like, these yoga people doing too much, but there's something about it. So I'm gonna stick with it till the end. And the first Bikram yoga class I did, it was 90 minutes. It was in the Upper West Side Bikram yoga place, but it was over Fairway before they changed it to where it is now, or where it was, because COVID ate up a lot of these studios. There was something about the bright lights, the hot temperature, the humidity, and the discipline to have to stay still and not wipe your sweat and fix your clothes and breathe through your mouth and drink, and just all this external movement. It's just unnecessary. Once you learn how to stand still in that environment, it's another way to just go inward. And I personally didn't feel any kind of a spiritual connection the way that I felt when I would meditate and use Kemetic yoga. But that's just my experience. But because I had done so much Bikram yoga, and I had learned how to ignore the lights, the sweat, the heat, the humidity, and it was challenging, how to focus and not talk and all the things that you learn in that class, it was such a transferable state of being when I started doing Kemetic yoga. While I was learning all about the Netaru and all of that, it was really a spiritual experience. It was the accumulation of all of it that had given me that spiritual connection. But it's waiting for you.
Can we just say it becomes like, well, okay, I love your experience. And though for me though, man, that thing become orgasmic, yo. Let me tell you. Because when you talk about
Bikram yoga?
When you talk about
being
still.
Oh, the breathing.
When you're being still and you're talking about all that internal energy, because sometimes the movement is a distraction. right?
Mhm.
And I don't want to, sometimes the energy can be, oh, I'm getting hot. Sometimes the energy can be too much. You have to move, right? Because it's like, how do I transmute this? This is so much in my body, right? Oh my goodness. But when you able to like, man, just feel all your energy, that thing become orgasmic, like not just genital sexual, but like the whole body. And let's be real, because we shy away from this term sex. We all having sex right now, a sacred energetic exchange, straight like that. Masculine and feminine energy coming together, and we are creating something. We're creating a spark of imagination, a spark of intuition, a spark of information or education or inspiration, whatever the Asian is, right? But like that practice of, yes, the movement, but like you were saying, being able to just sometimes be still and focus the practice inward, you really get to feel you get to feel like your heartbeat, your liver vibrate, like your stomach, you hear on a different level when it becomes so internal. And that's really getting to know you. Like what you see on the screen, this is just what's housing me. This is just a physical representation of me. You know what I mean? But on that inside, when you really get a chance to sit with yourself, and some people can't because of all, or I'm not going to say can't, we all can, but it can be a little tough because of all those inner conversations you haven't worked out yet, all those memories that are trapped in your amygdala or the hypothalamus gland that you haven't released yet. So sometimes it's hard to be with yourself because of the thoughts you think of. But when we're talking about these processes of energy management and releasing and transmuting and healing with herbs and all the things that's going to heal you physically and energetically, you become so in love with yourself. Being in meditation and doing these practice is a form of having a sacred energetic exchange with yourself. And if can't nobody else get you orgasmic, baby, you should get yourself orgasmic. I turn me on. Everybody should be turned on by for their own self. And if you don't turn you on, that's okay, because I was there before.
I want to add something about this spinal thing that you guys were saying and tie it also into that mycelium network. Because I work with a brother who does neuro energy healing, and he started out with first informing people about posture. I think that's going to be a huge thing that helps people with, managing their energy and getting their body back to where it needs to be, is that we need to get back into straightening and aligning our spine. A lot of the dis-ease that we feel in our body is because our spines are not straight.
That's right.
Because these messages, which are just like Raziki said earlier, which is representative of this mycelium network, this spinal cord is what's sending information out to the different parts of your body. And if it can't send the right message to where it needs to go, then your body is not going to function the way that it needs to. So helping people to align their posture, making sure that you're not slumped over and that your shoulders are not down and that you're raising your body up and bringing your chest up, and, as much as you can, being conscious of when you're in a lax state in your body, because even when you're sitting over and your shoulders are hunched, you're not able to get in the full breath that you need to.
That's right.
So breathing into your stomach, making sure that you're sitting up straight and that you're allowing for your body to sit in its natural state. Before we had cell phones and we was looking down and looking at computers and, using all of the energy to go smashing yourself inwards, it's about allowing that light that's within inside of you to shine and being able to be in alignment. That's what people talk. That's why people go to chiropractors, so that they can get themselves back into alignment and get their body. And then you feel so much relief when you have these different pressure points that are relieved, and the information is now able to flow. That's another reason why we're doing energy work, is so that we can stop the blockages. We need to be able to get the information that is being sent out. And if you are crunched here, or this organ is having to do more work because it's not getting the energy or the information that it has to have, then your body is overworking. It's doing the complementary thing for something else that is supposed to be working, but it's not able to work fully because we're not keeping ourselves in alignment. So understanding that all, the same way the mycelium network is sending information with underneath the ground to all the trees, to all the plants, to the animals, and it's all being connected, the same way goes for your spine. So just sitting in the practice of being straight, you know, sometimes when you sit up straight, it hurts. You know what I mean? And that's because our body has now gotten into a space of always being slumped over, and our shoulders are, you know what I mean? Our shoulders are curved. And then you see some older people who, you know, who now have the curvature in their spine, and it's almost like they can't get that back.
It's so hard
And
to do
it's
up
why
straight.
they have the issues that they're having within themselves. So like simple practices like that of just making sure that you are sitting up straight. I remember I got into doing snake venom, which is the animal kingdom that Raziki was speaking about earlier. And the first snake venom that I used was the cobra. And I noticed that once I did the cobra medicine, my spine was like, I felt like I was erect just like a cobra would. When you think about the energy of the particular snake that you're connecting with, you are going to pick up the energetic characteristics of that particular animal. So I remember that it wasn't even something that I had to tap into consciously. It's my body was just erect, and I felt so much better. It's like you can feel a different form of energy flowing within you when you are sitting up straight, when you're allowing for this information. And that's another way that you allow for that kundalini, which is supposed to be representative of the snake. And even in the Kemetic science, you know, they have the Uraeus, which is also the snake, and then the caduceus that they use for the medical symbol, where you
caduceus.
Yeah, however you say it. Y'all better.
We done got 4 different damn translators.
You're right though. Not because what she's saying. Not because what she's saying, a lot of people don't correlate that. Exactly what she's talking about.
All of them are connected, and all it is when we think about symbology, all it is just you know, us reforming information that is already here and putting it in our own language. So we're taking something that was somewhere else in some other culture or something like that, and we're bringing those things so that our people can understand it. So all of these things, these symbologies are all based upon each other. It's just taking it from somewhere else, but sitting with yourself. And these are things that you can practice without you having to do all of this yoga or energy work or anything else. It's just like, let's just sit in a space where our shoulders are back. You know, you raise your shoulders up, you push them back, and then you put them down to a relaxed mode. And that's going to help you to stay in a erect space and getting into a place of just really being in that. And whenever you feel yourself slumped over, consciously bring yourself back up into position, because you'll feel so much better energetically after you do something that, you know, you can apply, where you don't have to always go to somebody. And then it'll become second nature, and you'll always be sitting like this. You'll always want to sit like this, because you know how you feel when you feel crunched over. Even me sitting here, I'm consciously trying to make sure that I sit a certain way so that, you know, I'm not going to feel the pain of, you know, sitting down for long periods of time, especially with us going to work and having to be behind these computers and at these desks and different things. I remember I was working at a mortgage company, and they had those desks that would raise up. So it wasn't like you had to sit in your seat all the time. You could actually stand up and still do your work. And I love that. I was like, I want to get one of these for my house, because you don't always want to sit. Sometimes, you know, erect and standing up is going to be better than you sitting down in a chair all the time and then having to do all of these stretches for your lower back and getting into different things like that. So I did want to answer the question that the brother had put on there as far as I was getting ready to go in there too.
Yeah, I want to answer that question too.
Yeah, the meditation and the prayer. And in my understanding, prayer is when you're speaking out, and you know, you're talking to whatever the higher energy is that is, you know, within you or above you. And meditation is when we're sitting and we're listening and we're allowing ourselves to be silent. And that was something that I was referencing earlier about being able to hear yourself. If we can't get into a place of where we can shut down everything else, then that's what meditation is supposed to be about. A lot of people are like, oh, my brain is always talking. And it's because we don't sit enough to allow all of those thoughts to continue and filter out, so that then you are able to actually hear. Prayer is when you're speaking in your head or you're talking, And then meditation is when you're just sitting and you're waiting for the answer. So in prayer, you can ask whatever it is that you're asking for. And then in meditation, you sit and listen for the answer. And that was another thing that I wanted to reference, even when we're using these different herbs or we want to go into these different practices, asking, hey, is this for me? And then sitting and taking the time to listen and hear for the answer. One thing I learned in some of my spiritual classes where we do like different skill practices and being able to connect to ourselves, I learned that when we're listening, we have a right brain and a left brain. Our left brain is, more of the logic and thinking, and the right brain is more of the intuitive side of the information and the thing in the space where we allow for things to come in. So if I have a question and I ask something of myself, my higher self, my guides, I'm listening for what I hear on the right side of my brain. I'm listening for if I hear it on my right side. If I hear it on my left side, 9 times out of 10, I'm thinking it. If I hear it on the right side of my brain, it's coming into me. And our brains in our head is the opposite of what's going on in our body. So our right side of our brain is connected to the left side of our body, and our left side of our brain is connected to the right side of our body. So again, with that crisscross Kundalini energy that is working through us, listening for what you hear on the right side is where the information that is above you or higher than you or what's coming in is something that I've noticed for my particular self, as far as when I listen to get whatever information, or if I'm asking something, waiting for that answer to come in.
I do want to say this in reference to Brother Rick Wisdom's questions on meditation versus prayer. This is going to have some cultural nuances to it, depending upon what you believe in. So meditation is, well, let's just put it this way. Let's start with prayer, right? The obvious. When you pray, you're praying to something or someone or some entity that clearly has a power that you have deemed that you don't have.
Right.
First and foremost, because if that's the case, there's no reason for you to ask if you have it yourself. Do you understand? Meditation, however, is recognizing that the power or whatever that is that you're looking for is already within, and you are looking to invoke that energy and bring it out of you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
A lot of times, people approach things that they need in a way that they feel that simply because they don't have it physically, that it is not here. The way to manifest things in the physical realm, because see, meditation, the next word that usually leads to manifestation. You go into these things because you're seeking something, and the next step is to go into the manifestation process, the methodology of manifestation, which is what? You have to first feel what it is it feels like to have what it is that you want. This is the key to manifestation that people don't understand. If you're looking for a new car, right? What is the best thing to do? Go find the car that you're looking for, go to the lot and sit in the car and physically feel what it's like to own that car. Go and find the house that you're looking for. Go to the open house, walk in, act like it's yours already. Religion steals these practices. They say, speak it into existence as though they were. Because by you doing that, you are now automatically putting your body and your spirit into the vibratory frequency that is necessary to achieve it, because the universe will not grant you anything that you cannot maintain. It will not give you anything that you don't deserve. You have to be what it is you need to be in order to acquire what it is you're looking for.
That's a fact.
That makes sense, family?
Yep.
You want to be the manager on your job? Start acting like it now. Just be the manager. Just start acting like it and watch how you will get the role.
Jamaar, this is taking me, and I'm trying to hold it, right? But this is so important because, and I use this in my coaching, a lot of us out here trying to be entrepreneurs with employee energy.
Come on.
Some of us out here trying to be millionaires with scarcity mindset.
Come
Some
on.
of us out here like, I want to manifest all this abundance, but you asking for discounts and free shit all the time.
Come on.
You cannot sit up here and ask for one thing. The same way Latifa was like, yeah, we can intuit from the right brain, great, but that left brain is still there. You got to execute the lessons that spirit is telling you. Because we can sit here and ask for things and say, show me this, and you see it, you know the answer, but are you executing?
Oh my God.
Right? You execute, you have to apply it, yeah.
Yeah, and let's be real too. Yes, religion and all of these systems had a effect on our conditioning, right? And at the same time, we also have free will to get up out that conditioning. So let's also be real with ourselves and ask ourselves, are we really ready to do the work necessary to get to the next level, or are we going to keep complaining? Are we going to keep delaying and attaching ourselves to these 400 funky little years of oppression versus the 250,000 years of existence in total that we had of architecture, engineering, science, medicine, building, manifestation, abundance, all of these things. So if we're going to talk about all of this energy management, yeah, you can cultivate it, yeah, you can harness it, but what you about to do with it though?
Yep.
Like let's be real about that. So
what are you gonna do with it?
Jamaar, I gotta jump in and say this. So first off, shout out to discounts and free shits.
Hey, I didn't think she was gonna start like that.
That's for real, though. It's for real.
Shout out to discounts and free shit, right? All right. Yeah. So that was key because you can be, Black liberation, you can be, metaphysical, yoga, this, that, and the third, and you can still keep it real. Like when you have, and this is kind of a summary of what people are saying, and I want to add a little extra to it as well. When you are looking for discounts and free shit, what is that? Those are the people who you are, who you around. They're doing those things. It's the places you go. It's the food you eat. It's the stuff you watch. It's the expectations of how you think people should treat you. It's how you treat people. Because there's no isolation of your energy. There's no isolation of your meaning you can't be like divine over here and you looking for discounts and free shit over there. Like you can't. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's not necessarily because you're like, this is the way I do it. It's because that's the way you do it. This is how you see it. That's the energy you bring in, the expectations of what you put out and what you expect back, right? So you have to move in a certain space, spirit, like just like what Jamaar said, you want a car, go feel the car, go touch the car. You're in the space of the car. Do you ever drive down the street where your childhood home is and it brings back a certain feeling? It's a certain energy that's connected to your childhood home. Do you know your childhood phone number from back when you were 5? Because I do. And when I say that number, I have a certain feeling, especially the area code was 203 when all of Connecticut was 203. Now that part of Connecticut that I live in is 860. So now 860 feels like where I grew up. And 203 is Southern Connecticut. It doesn't even feel the same. Why? Because things have changed with that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say this with prayer and meditation. And this is my opinion. And, we were, among other things, brainwashed and programmed to fear our own power, to fear it. Why? Because our God is a jealous God. Our God is an angry God. Our God is this. Our God is that. I can do all things. How do I do all things? Through Christ who strengthens me. Is there a verse that says you can look within and do what you're supposed to do and you don't need this external force? So it's not even that you have this external force or that you haven't activated the internal power like Jamaar was mentioning. These religions teach you to be afraid to do it. It's devilish to do it. It's demonic to do. No, it is. No, it's not. The devil told you that. The demonic spirit told you that. So when you meditate, you calm down everything. Now I'm summarizing everything. Remember, you sit, you're comfortable, hold yourself. If you don't have the abs to keep your spine straight, then you physically use your hands to do it. You learn how to push everything out. It dissipates out. You breathe within. And when you get there, then you're able to tap into the power that you have. There's no consequence for manifesting and activating your internal power. It's just like when people had Jerry curls in the 80s and you use an activator and your Jerry curl was juicy. That's what you do when you activate the power within. All of the you're able. That's meditation. It's activating the power within. Yes, there are some physical steps. It's hard at first. You don't know what you're doing. Boom, bam, bam, whatever. Just like everything else, you learn how to do it. And you'll never be the same, I promise you. So then when it's time to pray, I hold space for the Christians. I hold space for all of that, because especially if I'm in a space, you can't go in somebody else's space acting a fool.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? That's not how our ancestors did it. We had rituals and we brought our ancestors back to the physical space with us so we could tap into the spirit and tap into ourselves. That's the core difference of prayer and meditation. Prayer has fear. Prayer has fear that you can't do it. And prayer has fear that if you do it, it's demonic. That's prayer.
Come on.
Meditation is within. Meditation is spiritual. It's ancestral. It predates all those stories about fear and you going to hell if you do this or whatever. Man, bump that. How we do it is connected to everything natural, bringing it back to what we've been talking about.
That's right.
At the core, the difference between prayer and meditation, period.
And I just want to say this too. Meditation does not have to look the same for everyone. And I'll just have a personal testimony.
Yes.
Some people, they want to start or force meditation trying to look like what everyone else does. Let me try to sit still and then you think you're not supposed to think of anything. But as Latifa was talking about, all the thoughts are going to come, right? And meditation is a beautiful practice for you to really allow those thoughts to come. Don't attach yourself to the story. You know why? Because the past is complete. We are in the now. Everybody repeat, my past is complete. It don't exist no more. However, we still may be holding it in our subconscious. So when you start these meditations, just don't be afraid of what comes up. Let it come. Don't attach any meaning. Don't attach your identity to it. Let it come and go. And then the more you start to be in tune with yourself, these things start to dissipate. And then you realize how many messages you've been missing. Now you realize how many, how clouded your mind was and that you couldn't hear. And so meditation does help you hear more. And so like she said, when you are praying outward, it is a way of admitting, I don't have this power within me, or you think something outside of you is going to help you when no, it's all within. And the within is the listening. The within is the conversation with yourself. If you did not move your mouth and you said your name, like right now, don't move your mouth and say your name.
Who you gonna hear?
Who you gonna hear? Who you talking to? Who said it and who heard it? That's you. So
you heard it though.
You heard it though. So meditation is that relationship that takes you away from this to external, and you really get to know you internal, and you get to know how abundant you are, how intrinsically special you are, how unique you are. And I want to say this about power too. Let's tap in on this. Some of us is out here afraid of our power. Now I got to talk into some karmic stuff and woo, woo, wop, wop. Some of us are afraid of our power because some of us are holding stories of either being abused by power or being the one who abused power. Let's be real, because we're not all perfect. We can't act like everybody in our community is. We know what's happening in our communities as far as abuse of power. So I can appreciate people who are mindful, because anything to the extreme is dangerous. Power can create and it can destroy. So part of this mindful meditation is harnessing it, understanding it, embracing it, appreciating it, knowing how big it is. And just as much as it can be creative, it can be destructive as well. So when we're talking about energy management, we're talking about managing our energy so that we are creating more of what we want and not exuding or creating an energy of destruction and depletion and all these things, because sometimes we have been the problem.
I'm glad you said that, because and I've always said this from the time I started teaching, that the universe, it doesn't understand your intent, it only understands your request.
Right.
And sometimes what we're asking for, we don't realize we're asking for that. And when you receive what you receive, you say, well, I didn't ask for this. No, you did. You asked the universe to be stronger when someone yells at you. So what did the universe do? It gave you a whole bunch of experiences of people yelling at you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have to know, like, how to ask the universe for what you want. And like I said, if you don't jump into that vibration of how it's supposed to feel, it won't come to you. That's just the way it works. You're magnetic. So
Right.
if you don't attract it, it's not something that you go and you get. It's something you attract. If you're trying to buy something, you attract the money to buy it. If you want to move somewhere, you attract the relationships that it takes to get to that location. That's how it works. So until you understand that, you'll always be stagnant no matter what it is that you want, until you put yourself in that vibratory frequency to receive. It's a vibe. That's why when people are like, it's a vibe, and we think it's cliche. No, vibe is short for vibration. And vibrations are defined by frequencies. Depending upon what frequency you're on will dictate the vibration that you have. So
I want to hear something from Fifth. I feel like he want to say something.
Yeah, definitely. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel. The information you people are providing are awesome. You ladies and gentlemen, you're awesome sauce. And definitely shout out to Righteous. Definitely shout out to Righteous for that $20 super chat. We all definitely appreciate that. That's a whole entire fact. So now, I want to spin the block of something you guys were saying, right? So now meditation, another is to get familiar with. Get familiar with this energy that you're trying to manifest. Again, you're adhering to the creator in you. When you're manifesting, like for an example, before I bought my Beamer, you know what I was doing? I was visualizing myself in my Beamer. Every time, even if I'm just in the crib listening to music, I'm visualizing myself driving it, visualizing how I'm feeling it. That's how you got to do, visualize, because your mind don't know the difference between what you're experiencing and the photo that you're putting in front of that mind's eye. It doesn't know the difference. So I'm going to give you another version of the Trinity. What you think, feel, and speak in unison helps you manifest what you're trying to do a lot quicker. But first, you definitely got to adhere to the creator in you. You cannot be two things cannot occupy the same space. You cannot be the creator and the victim. It's either or.
That's a fact.
So now, in the days where, because all of this could be your morning routine, everything they just said, clearing your mind, get to know what your mind is. Your mind keeps track of the past. So if the first thing you're doing is thinking of negative things, you got to let go of that. And be thankful, be happy, treat the universe like it's a person. Be thankful, be happy, right? Only visualize the things that affect you in a positive. Because if you know you're in a negative frequency, it puts you in a negative frequency. You start thinking negative.
Crazy. He said, treat the universe like it's a person. Bring that back, run that back, say it again.
So now, when you're manifesting, right? I give you another way of understanding that, right? Let's say the universe is a person and you like, yo, give me this, right? You're ordering it because if you're a God, you adhere to the creator. Yeah, I want this, right? But now, let's say somebody already gave you a gift, but you weren't thankful for that gift. You weren't happy, right? You felt like you should have got something better. You know, you're not showing thankfulness. So if you've ever given somebody a gift and you notice that they're not happy about it, appreciating, are you going to want to give them another one?
Right.
Obviously, no, right? So when you show appreciation, the universe going to want to adhere to what you're telling it to do. And it's not your job to focus on where it's coming from. It's not your job. let the universe take care of that. That's the universe's job. Because like we said earlier, nothing ever happens to you. Everything is always happening for you. But if you're a victim, then you feel like it's happening to you. You got to adhere to the creator in you, the God and or goddess, which is the voice she was adhering to earlier. When she said you can speak and you can hear your voice without moving your mouth, that shows you that you spoke without using your mouth and you listen without using your outside ears, which shows you that your body is like a vehicle. This ain't who you are. It's just like a vehicle. Like you, when you see a car, the person driving it is the car. It's not the car. Your body's the car. You are the person driving it. You are that voice. You get what I mean? So now this is what some people might say. Some people call this different. Some people call this knowledge of self, having knowledge of yourself, right? Now, applying it, because there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. You can have all the smarts in the world, but if you're not applying it, you know what I'm saying? It's knowledge and wisdom. So now I got another question you need to ask yourself. Do you affect the world, or are you living off of the effects of the world?
I'm gonna have to take him off the panel because I don't need nobody trying to steal my show. You feel what I'm saying? He dropped way too many jewels on that. That's why he's up here with us.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
You see, so what y'all getting is, you know, this is a treat. This is something that people will literally pay for and sit down, you know, to get. This is information that usually isn't run rampant free and in the same space like this at the same time, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So if you appreciate what you're seeing here today, if you learn something new, definitely smash that like heart button. We also have cash apps up here of everybody that's on this panel. You see 5/5 is there, Latifa's is there, Akura Temple, that's Sister Raziki, and Yoga Girl Sy is Sy. So if you would like to bless them in any way, shape, form, or fashion, feel free to hit up their cash apps. Also, before we get too close to the end, I do want y'all to speak individually on the services y'all provide, to plug y'all businesses and things of that nature, so we can find out how to reach y'all and if we need y'all services. So we can start off. Who started off first last time? So you can start off first, Latifa.
Okay. So I do energy work services. When I first started with Tantra, I wasn't ready to do any Tantra work on people. So I had to tap into Reiki, which allowed me to be able to work with everybody, men and women, because I know that energy work works. I've had table sessions before, and I've had pains in my body from car accidents that literally went away after I got a session. So me knowing that energy moving through your body is going to heal whatever is going on with you really pushed me into deepening my practice of energy work, and then sharing it with other people, especially because when I learn about something, I always want to give the knowledge and the information to other people and then correlate it in a way so that they understand how it's happening in their physical body. So I started out doing Reiki sessions, mostly distance. I've worked with people all over the world. I can sit in my house, you can sit in your house and be comfortable, and I can still do energy work on you. We can balance your chakras, release any pain, negative imprints, and different things that we're holding on to that are going to stop us from channeling into that frequency of what it is that we actually want. So I do distance sessions for people. I also I use cardology because I'm a person who has a huge tool belt. I'm very excited about the metaphysical aspect of things, and bringing in whatever science that I understand so that people can kind of mesh and merge those things together. So I'm bringing in cardology. I do practice human design and knowing who we are authentically. That's the main thing that I like to get into the people who I work with. I'm also a coach. So everything is going to be specifically tailored to what it is that you need. It's not like, let's go get this cookie cutter, thing for whoever and whoever. It's like, let's get into who you are, what you're particularly going through, so that we can start you from a baseline and get you to where it is that you are looking to go. So I'm using different tools to basically help you to get back in touch with yourself. And that's the most important thing that I feel. I'm here to do, is to help people understand their uniqueness, be accepting of their uniqueness, and really let that uniqueness shine, because we're all here to serve a special purpose, whatever that purpose is. And if you don't understand what that is or how to get in touch with that, you'll never be able to shine that light. And whatever it is that you've been through, all of the different experiences that you've had, all of these things make us who we are. This is what makes us the gems. All of the stuff that we call, messed up, or, woe is me type of things, all of these things happen so that you can get a specific perspective that you can share with other people, because maybe it's something similar to what somebody else went through. Maybe it's something that's going to be able to help somebody else move from the space that they're in into their greatness, into their godness. So I'm here to help people get back to their authentic selves. I want you to be comfortable with who you are and be able to stand in that power, because I know that it took me a while to be able to recognize who I was. Other people could see, the greatness in me before I could really see it in myself. And that usually happens because of all of the experiences that we have as a child. Whoever it was that was raising us or rearing us, they may have told us to be quiet. They may have tried to shut down certain gifts and things that we've already had within us that already come with our seeds that we create. These offspring that we bring here come with a specific light. But if you don't help to cultivate that light, then the light will go dark and it'll go dim. And then a child or whoever is going to try to be like somebody else because they see that this person is getting the shine or this person is getting the light that they want to have for themselves. So I am here to help people to get back to loving who they are. Love who you are, because you're here for a reason. You didn't get put here for, when we think about astrology, all of us have a specific blueprint. There's different characteristics and energies that come with us. So we have to get back to the space of loving that and really coming here to express that, because you came with this specific piece so that you can be, linked with another piece, so that we can get with, whoever we need to get with, so that certain energies can be expressed. So that's what my coaching is about. That's what my energy work is about. It's really about helping you to clear your mind, clear yourself, so that you can get back to who you are, so that you can come and be the light that you need to be for everybody else. So you can reach me at elevatedbylove.com. I'm on Instagram at elevatedbylove, Facebook at Latifa Foster. Like really get back to who you are, ground within yourself, and really know who you came here to be, and really just express that without, any fear of what that's going to, bring up in somebody else, because that's a lot of the reasons why we shut down a lot of what we have with us, is because we're afraid of how it's going to be seen or what someone's going to say if we're speaking up and really showing, who we came here to be. We're worried about everybody else, and we're people pleasing, and we're shrinking ourselves down. And we need to be big, just like they think big. I'm not gonna say the word because we're trying to keep it family, but we have to just greaten our vision, because a lot of us are just really small right now. And especially when we have all of this information coming in telling us that this is what we're supposed to look like, this is the way that we're supposed to act. You're supposed to act exactly as who you are. And being authentic is the best way to be able to do that. But if you don't know who you are, then I'm here to help you get to the ground level of what that is, so that you can expand whatever that is and then turn it into something greater.
I say.
Awesome. Who'd like to go next?
Salute to that.
So definitely reach out to Latifa if you need those services, for sure, or just to build, ask questions. You know what I mean? As you can see here, there's a very knowledgeable panel on this subject matter. So definitely tap into any one of these queens. Who's next to want to break down your services?
Do me a favor, baby, before she go, put that chaotic chat on the screen for me, please. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Salute, chaotic, bro. God.
Definitely hit that like button. We got 26. We've had a lot of people in this room over the course of this time. Please hit that like and heart button. Definitely comment if you haven't already. Okay. A little bit of okay, cool. Let's get Raziki.
Yes. So, peace, everyone. Thank you again to the brothers for having me on the panel today, and thank you for everyone who is watching. So, two paths where you could work with me, one of each or both at the same time. So, Akura Temple is my 508c1a temple, my faith-based organization. It is through that particular entity where I also am focused on helping men and women tap into who they authentically are through the tools of sidereal astrology, gene keys as well. I help people understand their inner genius. I help people understand their path in relationships and partnerships. I also help people understand their what I call purposeful path in prosperity. So some of my modalities is shamanic tantra. This includes body work, hands-on and hands-off energy work. This also includes sacrament ceremony as well as private coaching. So if you need to go through your own Qigong series or training or private second healing trainings, private attunements to do your own energy work, I am here for that as well. Sacrament education and also learning Tantra for the purpose of personal development. I also offer training and certifications for Tantra practitioners as well. Again, big shout out to Latifa, one of the graduates. Big shout out to Elevated by Love Ministry as well, part of our Inkuso family. And just to touch on that real quick, so Akura Temple and our whole temple network and ministry are also acquiring land. So big shout out to one of our graduates, Mescanet Temple as well. We will be erecting temples all over the globe, which are also tax exempt. So tax exempt wellness retreat centers will be available as well. And then also a part of my work in helping people become their authentic and best self and knowing their purpose and their path of prosperity is through my for-profit company, The Vision Catalyst. So this is where I work with entrepreneurs, community organizers, and leaders in transformational leadership coaching, where I also combine my skills in communications and advertising along with wellness. So everything from business structure to scaling your business to creative consulting to brand ascension, I offer that as well. And then the sites that I gave you all, I do have 2 ebooks or 3 ebooks actually available. So I want to touch on this. In my journey as an energy practitioner and not only knowing who people are in the authentic selves, it was like, man, you're here to you have a purpose. You're a dope architect. You're a dope warrior. You're a dope leader, nurturer, farmer, counselor, teacher, right? So a lot of my energy practices also have systems where I specifically work with entrepreneurs and business owners to catalyze their business. And so one of my clients, again, I talk about this a lot, going through his ceremonies and acquiring a rice mill in Sierra Leone. And I also teach at masterminds as well, helping business owners and entrepreneurs harness their energy and break through barriers such as scarcity mindset and imposter syndrome and all the things. So on the Akura Temple website, there is a ebook. It is $3, but it goes to our land fund, y'all. We need to get some more land, okay? And it's called Breaking Through Bullshit Belief Systems. So this is an ebook that tells the truth about how sometimes the people and the teachings and the messages in our community can actually put a lid on what we feel like we could do and make us feel bad about our journey to abundance. And then on the Vision Catalyst website, there are 2 free ebooks about family trusts and community trust. Okay. So it's one thing to manifest all these things and these assets, but how are we protecting it and securing it and passing it down to our generations? So my left brain and my right brain has Akura Temple and the Vision Catalyst. So no matter where you are in life, there's space for you. Peace, love, and prosperity.
Ashe.
Ashe. Next up, we have Yoga Girl Sy.
Hello, everyone. I've had an amazing time on this panel. I felt like I was a guest and also in the audience because everybody was so dope and so great. So I want to just thank Jamaar for having me on the panel and also reconnecting with Latifa and also meeting some new people today. So with Yoga Girl Sy, I have revamped some things in my yoga business with yoga and meditation. And I also have a nonprofit, the Shrine of Sekhmet, which will offer educational classes amongst other things. So since I'm not completely in the rebuilding phase, because I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And so, what I can say is by the spring equinox, I'll be back up and running, back online with everything, with my educational classes through the Shrine of Sekhmet, as well as with my meditation and yoga classes through Yoga Girl Sy. So stay tuned, and you'll definitely have all the deets when I let that loose around the spring equinox. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. If you want to connect with me on the Shrine of Sekhmet or with Yoga Girl Sy, or like, hey, what's going on? The absolute best way to get a hold of me is my Instagram, Yoga Girl Sy. That's the best way to get a hold of me. My email is yogagirlsy@gmail.com. Those two, but really truly Instagram, that's the best way. I'll get back to you ASAP from that. And I'll see you in the spring. I got some good stuff brewing.
Awesome. Is there anything else either you guys girls want to say?
Yeah, I do want to add, I am doing a Reiki retreat in Sedona for the spring equinox. So if people are interested in learning about Reiki and using that path to help enlighten them and open them up, which I feel is just a gateway into getting more into yourself. I am a teacher of Reiki. I have certified many people through the levels of Reiki. I have a few Reiki masters that are also under me. Or if you would just like to, book to learn it in a class or a personal session, I do that. I also travel to teach people Reiki so that we can have, the energetic experience in person. If you have 6 or more people who would like to, I feel like everybody should have some form of energy work, at least the level 1 in their home, so that you can work on yourself, so that you can work on your family and friends. And this is just a way for you to be able to release energy so that you can understand how energy works within the body. We should all be able to know, what emotions come up with each particular organ in these organ systems and how these things work on a metaphysical level. I definitely want to have people understand how the energy works within our body and how things are expressed so that we can come to a more grounded space of knowledge so that we understand how to move when we're talking about mastering our energy. We need to know what's coming up. If this anger is coming up, then maybe we're going to have to look into the liver. If we're thinking about, what Raziki said earlier about the adrenals and different things like that, like we have to, know what's going on with this root chakra energy and what's supposed to be manifesting. If you're having issues with money blockages, what's going on with your root chakra, what's going on with your sacral chakra. I really am passionate about teaching people about themselves and how this energy is connecting to you. So if you're interested in, opening up a path of enlightenment, and it's not the only thing that you can do, I think it is a gateway to going into deeper practices of different things, because it's definitely helped to open me up. Raziki was one of my first teachers when I got on my journey of finding out who I was. There was a lot of things going on in my life that I wasn't understanding why I was even being presented with these experiences. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out who I am. I need to know why I don't have any hobbies or why I'm just not into anything. And she was working in a class about mastering the master feminine. And so she initially started me on my journey of knowledge of self and finding out who I was. And I'm truly grateful for her because she's helped to expand me into really knowing who I am and standing in that power. And she saw the power in me way before I saw the power in myself. So I'm truly grateful for all that I've learned through Tantra, through Reiki, through all of the energetic practices that I now use that have opened me up, because there's so many different things that we can use, but just to learn that all of these things are within ourselves. The biggest thing that, anybody can just pull from all of the things that we said in this panel today.
Ashe. Thank you. And I just wanted to share some events I had coming up, if that's cool. And first off, girl, you almost made me cry. Thank you, Latifa. I just got to say this real quick because we elevate and edify each other around here. I'm so freaking proud of you and seeing your growth and like where you started to where you are now and being the leader that you are, not being shy of your power. Like, it's so beautiful. And to step back and like be your student sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, and it's beautiful to be in a community where it's collaboration over competition. We all respect each other's gifts. There's no one above the other.
That's
We
right.
create leaders around here. We're not here to create no followers, straight up like that. I love seeing my people rise up because it's lonely at the top. Okay, so
Talk about that.
so the events that I do have coming up, fam. Number one, if y'all are in the North Carolina area, the summer solstice, June 20th to 22nd. This is celebrating one of our sister temples, her land ceremony. So we bliss the land before we build anything on it. There's camping, there's vendors, there are artists, there's entertainment. And we're also going to do a wealth and wellness activation ceremony for everybody on the land, because around here, especially in tantric work, we build up that energy and spread it so everybody gets fertile. So that's number one to save on your calendar. Also in August and October, we will be having our leadership wellness retreats in Panama, as well as in Ghana. So definitely stay tuned for that. And then again, we will be opening, because again, I like practical tools too, certifications for our next Tantra training, as well as trust classes as well. So I sent my IG information. Y'all just stay tapped into the pages, sign up on the email list, because again, as we're building and harness this energy and having these visions, we also want to have support in practically applying these things as well, doing the action, doing the work, so that you actually see in reality all the visions that's been permeating in your soul since day one.
Listen, this. Calm down, y'all. Calm down. Listen, this show has been completely amazing. You know, coming back to YouTube, you know, I got to be honest. Like, I was scared to come back because just the way the world is, and you know, trying to find good people, it's not an easy thing to do, you know, in this day and time with everything that's going on. So I appreciate you ladies, you know, from the bottom of my heart for coming on here. I appreciate you for your practice, for what you guys do and the energy that you guys put into it. I've spoken to the majority of you on personal level, and I know how much work you guys put into what it is that you're doing. So I appreciate you guys, you know, for putting that work in when nobody's looking. Right. That's the main thing. Because our people need this. You know, at the end of the day, as you can see, you know, those of you who are new here, you probably learned some things or heard some things that you never heard before. And one of the things that I pride myself in is being able to show you guys resources and documentation. You know, I try to throw a little bit of science in there for you guys who are, you know, into that, and give you that balance. You know what I mean? So having the ladies on here, you know, I hope to have them on a lot more in the future, and to do more work with you guys and build something great. So with that being said, Fifth, you got anything to say?
Yeah, man, I added all of y'all on IG. It's going to be a different name. It's not going to say that. It's going to be a different name. Just recognize the face. That's all you got to do. Look for the face and you'll see. And honestly, he didn't say this, but I'm going to say this, yo. We're going to do this a lot more often than any of you ladies think. So I'm going to ask you now to set aside some time for a commitment to this, because we're going to do this more. So like, all right. How I like to do it is I like to make sure that we all hit each other's panels. So I noticed some of y'all got YouTube channels and some of y'all don't. Maybe you should provide some of your content on y'all channels too. Make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing that's ever working against you. And we go, this is just the beginning. Like you said, the floor, right? This is the basement. This is just the foundation. It's only the beginning. It's only going to get better. And we want y'all ladies around a lot more. Even the people in the chat are saying it.
Yeah, the chat going crazy. Like, from what, you know, they really appreciate the energy you guys are bringing and the information y'all bringing. You know?
I'm grateful. Thank y'all for receiving me, us. it's beautiful. And like the sister said in a private chat, I think this is a beautiful representation of what needs to be seen as far as masculine energy and feminine energy working together and having these really great builds and conversations. And even if there are opposing views or whatever, we still know how to work through them and agree to disagree, and also know two things can't exist at the same time, you know? So with 2024 being a whole bunch of BS about this battle between the modern woman and all that, like, we got to bring this together, y'all. Stop playing. Like, this is not, that's not what it is. This is where it is, and this is where it's at. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
So with that being said, if all hearts are clear and all minds are clear, may the divine force in me, great the divine force in you, may you manifest every heart's desire. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I appreciate you. Thank you, Fifth. Thank you, Latifa. Thank you, Raziki. Thank you, Yoga, for coming on. And we'll see you soon. Dua to the Lighthouse and everybody in the chat. We'll see you soon, all right?
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Let me try and close this out the right way. It's been a while.
Like, do we still stay on or get off?
No, I'm going to drop you on the feed. Just hold on.
It's not done yet. You gotta